Hello and welcome back to the Apostles of Anime. I'm glad to be back here. I'm your host Ian along with Isaiah.
What's up?
And Gavin.
What it is.
And I have to apologize in advance for probably all of us for sneezing, coughing, my voice, everything. I've been sick for a while now. These guys seem like they're getting a little sick. Yeah. It's been a rowdy freaking weekend, and we're all a little under the weather now, but we wanted to definitely record this episode because we wanted to talk about our time at Anime NYC. Anime Con, because it's just been a blast. As at the time of recording, it is currently Sunday, right after the convention's end. So a little after 5 p.m. right now. The convention went from Friday until, like I said, Sunday 5 p.m. Yep. And we just wanted to kind of talk about our experience because this is the first time for me that and you guys, right, that we went to an anime convention, right? Yeah. And kind of went together as a team. We got the press passes, so there's things to do with that. But we just want to talk about it, what we liked, what we didn't like. Special events we went to, funny stories, etc. And maybe this will persuade you to get out there next time that they have it, and have some fun with it. So, it was a weekend, man. it was a freaking weekend. So, right before we even got there, just real quick, I want to say, because it was funny right from the start, we were on the train going to New York City, and we almost got off at the wrong stop, along with like 10 other people that almost followed us, because some asshat decided to name... For those of you familiar with New York City, Penn Station or Pennsylvania Station is the popular the station, right, where you're getting off the train, and there also is a Penn Station that gets off at Newark, not to be confused with New York, which sounds really freaking similar.
Or
so
in train conductor language, it does.
Yeah, because it's basically
It was on a muffled speaker, and I was like, "All right, next exit," and then just blank, and you're like, "All right, where are we?"
We had no clue, so all I heard was Penn Station, and some woman's getting off, and I go, "Miss, is this Penn Station?" And she goes, "Yeah, this is Newark Penn Station," but the way she said Newark was fast, which most people do, so I just assumed she said New York Penn Station. So I'm like, "Oh, guys, this is it." So we get off, and there's these two foreign girls too they were speaking some other language. They got off behind us, and there was like a bunch of people, and then it wasn't until one of the girls I think asked, they piped up and were like, this is New York Penn Station. And the one guy I guess has been around the block was like, no, this is Newark Penn Station. The next one is New York Penn Station. We're all like, oh, so that was awkward. We almost led a fucking an exodus into fucking Newark with all these people. Would have been really pissed off and ruined our trip.
It wasn't like we were light traveling either. Like we all had duffel bags and backpacks and shit, and we had it on top of the bars. So literally, I'm like fucking trying to take it down, not break my camera bag. And all he hears this guy go, "You fucking idiots! This is Newark, not New York." And I was just like, "You're fucking."
Yeah, they were very accommodating to our mistake.
Exactly, and I didn't even bother throwing my fucking bag up. I was like, I already made it.
Yeah, we just all kind of fucking hung out there, but that was you could tell that we were newbies when it came to that. But that was a funny story, right? Even before we got here. Kind of tried to navigate New York City a little bit. I know, Gavin, have you been to New York before?
Like once or twice in passing. I never actually stayed a night in New York.
Okay, yeah, none of us had actually stayed overnight, as far as I know, right? You have, Isaiah? Okay.
Terrible with directions.
Okay, yeah.
Getting around, so
this is my first time actually staying an extended amount of time and like learning. You learn it's a giant grid essentially. Like once you figure that out, it's not too hard. But like we were trying to like mess with the GPS, and like Google Maps really needs to step their fucking game up, because walking wise with Google Maps is a fucking nightmare for anyone who's tried it. Like when you're driving, it's so on point, dude. For walking, the arrows turn the opposite way. You have to like turn your phone around, and then it's like, it'll take you through some motherfucker's like garage or something. It's wild. It's like Waze, dude. It's like it was nuts. So we finally we got our bearings. Now at this point we've traveled enough in the where we are that we've kind of learned the lay of the land. And again, it's just like a giant grid. So that was funny. But
we get to the convention.
Yes,
we got in Friday. So
correct.
The convention started at 8 a.m. on Friday. We didn't get in because our room wasn't gonna be ready till 3. So we didn't end up getting to the convention until like 4:30.
About 4:30. I would say maybe even almost 5.
Yeah,
it was a little late.
It was about half the day, which like we knew going in. But it was fine. We hit the artist alley, and we saw a lot of dope shit. I mean, it's funny because I've never been to one of these conventions, but like just from reading about it and like looking it up, I know that like these are the places where like so like I follow a lot of different like these kinds of artists on social media and stuff. So I see them posting about this stuff all the time, and they're like, oh, this convention's coming up. You guys can like meet me or see my art and stuff. But you never, until you're in these buildings and in these rooms, realize like how many people there are doing this and how many different kinds of art there is. I mean, there was booths on booths. Like, it was crazy. There was so much art. And it was cool, like, getting to see.
It was wild, because we recorded it and, hope to put out videos eventually on kind of our experience at the con so you could see it in video form. But it was a lot to cover, man. Yeah. Like, because we're like, we want to hit everyone. So, like, people know. And, like, again, if we put this in video form, it'll be sped up or cut or whatever. Like, some of it gets a little redundant. Some of the artists or the styles are, like, super similar, where it's like, okay, whatever. But we tried to hit all the points, and we were out there for a freaking minute, man. We were out there for hours, and we only got past, like, the first part. And then they shut down the thing. They're like, you gotta go. We're like, fuck. And we're like, okay, I guess we're coming back tomorrow. Because, like, in our video, if we post it, like, I don't know how it'll be cut and spliced, but, like, I basically go, okay, we're gonna hit Artist Alley, and I meant, like, all of it. And then I'm like, then we're going to do whatever else. And it was like, we didn't even make it, like, we made it like a quarter way through. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you got to go. And we're like, oh, shit.
It was like timing wasn't on our side, but I also think we didn't realize how big Artist Alley was. We're like, oh, yeah, it'll take, like, what, 10 minutes? No, it was like a 2-day venture. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah, because that was really what we did the first day, right? Yeah. Like, the whole first day, we were there, and then we just kind of browsed around to kind of get our bearings too. We like took pictures of the map, and we're like, oh, okay, this is where this, that, and the third is for like next time, so we know we have a plan of attack coming into the next days, because that was fun. I think so we did that, and unless there's anything you wanted to add about that day in the convention, I wanted to try and remember the places that we ate. So people know. Do we remember the fucking place that we... Isaiah's giving me a blank look, so is Gavin. The first night, the burger joint. Do you guys remember what it was? The counter?
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know. We went, I think, because afterwards we came back, we hung out, and then we went to this place called The Counter.
I remember, because you guys were like, what do we do now? And I was like, I'm starving. And you were like, look up food near me. And I did, and The Counter was the first place to go.
And you picked the only spot where I never thought in my life I'd ever spend $30 on one fucking burger. Not gonna lie, I cried a little bit at the end of it.
Dude, how about getting there? Hang on. Whoa, I forgot about that. We didn't walk. Okay, for little life hack here, at least in my opinion, whatever, if you really hate walking, fucking walk, dude. Like, unless you're, like, really far, don't take an Uber or taxi, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just the Ubers, but holy shit, this guy was so cool. Like, I can't remember his name, but I'm terrible with names, for anyone who knows me, but really cool. And he's out there when people are leaving the convention like, hey, I'm a taxi, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, should we get something to eat? And we were initially planning on coming back to the convention for an event after dark, where it was like some kinky shit, because, we're all freaks out here. So, spoiler alert, we didn't make it in time because it was just wild shit. But, so the guy's out there, and you're like, and Isaiah looks up food near me, and he's like, all right, the counter is close. It's a burger joint. It was like 0.8 miles away, right? So we're like, okay, let's just, you want to just take this, this taxi? So we're like, sure. So we hop in the dude's car, and he's like, you want to hop in the front? And I'm like, oh, interesting. I didn't realize it was an Uber. And he had taxi on his shirt, or like a sign around his neck. So we get in, and I go, guys, this is not a fucking taxi. So if anybody's ready to throw down, like now's the time. But it was an Uber, because I'm just an idiot. But it was funny. So we got in, and we were holding a conversation with this guy the whole time. And, really cool dude. Like, he was talking about, his journey here.
He's from India.
Yeah, he's from India.
Oh, his name was HiDive.
Was that it?
Yep, HiDive.
Wow, Gavin, you're a savage for
that. I was just like trying to think.
Shout out HiDive.
HiDive.
Yeah, really cool. I was asking him about, his journey here and how long he's been here. I think it was 16 years. His uncle's been here for like 30. And I was like, why'd you choose New York City? Like, do you like it here? And he said he loved it. I think he was from, did he say Queens?
He lives in Queens, but he wants to move to Long Island.
That was it, yeah. Like, he's like, if I could choose. And the whole time, though, it was funny, because, like, he's telling us this whole story about his religion and, like, Shiva and, like, and his kids. And, that he's a fucking Uber driver. He goes to, like, 3 in the morning and then gets home and goes to sleep at, like, 4. Sees his kids.
Yeah, he works from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah, man.
And then, like, he meets with his kids, because his kids are up at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then like he's with them for a couple hours, then he goes to bed at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And he wakes back up for work.
Yeah, like 1 or whatever.
It was nuts.
It was wild. But the whole time, we were going there. Terrifying for anyone who's not familiar with New York City and driving in New York City, because it's one thing to be here, it's another thing to be in a car.
Although I feel like that's even people who don't, like, it's the most notorious thing about New York is that nobody wants to drive.
It's not a lie, dude. It's not a lie. Life hack: don't bring your car if you don't have to. Holy crap! This guy was bobbing and weaving like he was fucking Dale Earnhardt Jr. in a NASCAR race. I was like, how are we not dead? And he was so nonchalant, like he's holding a conversation the whole time. He's flipping through tunes on the radio. I go, yo, like you do, like, this is the norm? He's like, yeah, there's a little bit of traffic out tonight. Just like flying through. Dude, like, the lanes were non-fucking existent. It would be like, there were 2 motherfucking lanes, and like, there'd be 4 cars. Like, he's just like going like an NFL fucking running back through the fucking holes. I was like, this is crazy. I go, yo, you, I was like, you ever get in a crash before? Like, I was like, ever get in an accident? And he paused for a second. He's like, nah. He's like, well, one guy hit me in the back once, and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, who the fuck would admit that I got in an accident with a driver in an Uber? But I'm like, it seems highly unlikely, my dude. But it was, he was good at it. He navigated it well. I don't think I don't know if I could ever do that. But like, that's just, dude, that's like the law out there. It's like the concrete jungle, as they say.
That's why I asked him, because, you know, he's driving in New York City. I was like, is driving back in India anything like this?
He said it's worse, right?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, in India it's a jungle. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
He's like, what is it here? Yeah. Fucking fishbowl. Yeah, it was wild, man. But he was a cool guy. We learned his story, bobbing and weaving through traffic. That was nuts. And like, you just develop, you know, this knack for it eventually. Like, what if you're from around the city? But like, if you're not a native to that and you're not familiar with that, you're like, wow, this is crazy. And like, if one thing New York has taught me, New York City that is, it's that, I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but you have to be like at least assertive and confident in this city. Like, even when you're walking, right? Yeah. And it's like, I know some people will be like, well, no shit, right? And like, you know, but seriously, for people that are not familiar at all, like, even walking, man, like, you gotta like get through people. Like, if you got somewhere to be, like, people will just like not maybe literally shove you aside. Like, even when you're ordering food, like, if they forget, you're like, yo, where's my thing? Or like vice versa. Like, they'll give you like, you can't be thin skinned. I feel when you're here, you gotta like you gotta know what you want and you gotta take it. Like, that's and know what you're about. Cause you know, I might be over exaggerating a little, but seriously, I've got that vibe immensely here. Yeah, and that was wild. And then the Uber was $40 fucking, by the way. That was the point of the life hack. 40 fucking, it was like 30, but I couldn't not tip the guy because he was cool as shit. And so, you know, I'm a sucker when it comes to tipping, so like, I usually tip a little extra. So he's like, yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm like, this is probably gonna be like $15. It was like a mile, but it felt like it took forever because he was so much fucking.
It literally was a mile.
It was good, like forever, dude. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, here's your thing. He's like, it's 30, and I look back at Isaiah and Gavin, and I'm like, oh my god. Then I tipped him. It came out to like 39 and change, and I was like, dude, I just spent $40 on a fucking Uber that took just as long as if we would have walked. So don't take an Uber. Don't do it unless you absolutely have to. My opinion, walking is the way to go.
Yeah, even if you have a fucking broken leg, crawl up the street,
oh my god. Then we went to the burger joint, and Isaiah and I are eating a burger, and Gavin goes, yo, what if everyone in New York just flushed their toilet at the same time? And Isaiah and I look at each other, and we're like, this is how you know we are just fundamentally different people, dude. Like, this is just like, what the fuck? Our dynamic, dude, is like, dude, I love it.
Just think about it. One building, everybody flushes their toilet at the same time. It's got to, like, cause an earthquake or something. Like,
so anyway, we get to the second day of the convention. That was a real great story that had nothing to do with
Oh, come on. This is fun. This is fun. I want to talk about our whole experience in New York City.
Yeah, well, you guys can call people if you want to get that.
You know those water gushers? That'll happen in the street, dude. The fucking just geysers.
Super interesting, Gavin. Anyway.
I'm saying you're not ruining this, okay?
And we get up at, what, 10?
Yeah, because these assholes watch Food Wars until fucking 3 in the morning.
Yo, we had to get up at ass crack at dawn. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, to be fair, that burger was ginormous, and I felt like I had a fucking brick in my gut, so I couldn't fall asleep anyway, but no, we stayed up pretty late. We got up.
We decided to basically be there all day. So we got there at, what, 12? I want to say?
I would say about 1. Because we got up at like 10:30, and it took us a while to like unwind, and then we went to the bagel place up the road, which, do we remember the name of that one?
Nope, and I hate it, so it doesn't matter.
I liked it a lot, and we've been eating breakfast
Ian likes
every day.
super inefficiently run places.
That's not true. Isaiah just thinks that like everyone and their mother's going to be able to handle like 900 people coming through the door. Dude, it was packed in there. Holy shit, every day. Everywhere in New York is bumping, dude. Like, it was wild. No, it was funny. But
yeah, this 30-minute line. Oh.
We had to eat our breakfast on the way to the con, but we got there around probably, I would say, about 1:30.
Yeah, and so I think we finished the rest of Artist Alley, like all the stuff from Artist Alley that we didn't get to see on Friday, which is really great because I think like when you hear Artist Alley, you're like, oh, it's like just art and it's artists. But like no, there was like there was like props, there was like figures, it was like all kinds of like crazy like knickknacks and cool collectible stuff, posters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought it was enlightening too because as much as we have a different dynamic in the show, which is something that I love about it, right? That we are inherently three different people. And everyone's unique, right? But like we definitely have some glaring differences between us, and I think that's what makes this show cool, is that we get to bounce those off each other and have different opinions and ideas. It's not just so cut and dry and linear. But it was funny because I realized over the course of this weekend that Gavin and I have a very similar taste in art and clothing apparel, which was funny because it was like we heavily agreed on that. It was so funny because Isaiah's just looking at titties the whole time, which don't get me wrong. Your boy loves. Don't get me wrong. Your boy loves titties. I was going back and forth. I was going back and forth. But Gavin just seemed totally didisinterested. And I'm looking at Isaiah.
Which, by the way, after this Artist Alley, just the Artist Alley alone, totally hitting up a hentai convention. 100% doing it. Because like just that little taste, I need more.
Dude, not gonna lie, if they had the sit down panel, like what we had to go through later, or in the future of this episode, because that was like what, day 2.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But we just want to go back to that. So I love, you love hentai, and there's a reason why.
For sure. And no, but I definitely do agree with that. I think I was like the happy medium between the two because Gavin, like not in a bad way or anything, not that it matters, but like Gavin just seemed totally disinterested in like anything that resembled like halfway naked people for the most part. Like you could appreciate it, but Gavin was like.
Honestly, it was so much to look at, and those you can kind of just like see.
Yeah,
like, there was other like art like that kind of intrigued me more, and I was like, "Oh, what else do we have?" If we went by a second trip,
no. Yeah, and it's not that it's like wrong or anything, but like I understood Isaiah's like, "Ooh, man," I'm like, Isaiah, you don't like that one? It was like some chick with horns or some shit. They were creative, but Gavin and I really connected on some of like the really abstract art. Like we purchased some of the same stuff. Like we know the Gavin and I purchased almost like all the same shit for the most part, and like
Gavin had this weird thing where. He didn't want to buy anything, and Ian said he was going to buy it. So Ian was apparently interested in everything that Gavin was interested in. So Ian would
Who the fuck is dying out there? By the way, we're recording in the hotel. If I didn't say that already,
in our apartment, and
you probably hear. I think somebody literally died right outside our fucking thing, right? Or is he going by? New York is hustling and bustling out here. There's a fucker dying every 2 minutes, dude. It's rough. Anyway, sorry about that, but you were saying.
Yeah, so, like, if Ian would go, I want to buy something, and Gavin would then turn to me and go, oh, fuck, I wanted to buy that. And I go, Gavin, there's more than just for Ian. You can also buy the thing. And he'd be like, but Ian already got it.
Because Gavin would be, like, kind of hemming and hawing. I'd be like, I want that one. And then Gavin would be like, I wanted that one. And it's like, Isaiah was like, Gavin, like, you can get that, too. And so, basically, for the most part, Gavin and I got, like, almost... about 75% of the shit we purchased is all the same, which was hilarious because it was like, wow, I didn't realize how similar of a taste we have in art and clothing.
And I think we'll get to it on the third day, but we have a pretty nice haul of stuff.
Yeah, especially today. The last day.
I think we'll go through. We even make a separate video about that and just go through what we got.
What else did we do? On the second day, we hit at the end too. We hit the cars and the video games and stuff. I don't know if you want to say anything before that.
So that was dope. Cars that was really cool. There was a whole section basically like in the corner. That in the very corner, which had like old like retro video games. It was all like the really old Gundam games, but they even had new stuff like they had Dragon Ball FighterZ ones up there, and they had like Dance Revolution like off to the side, which was really cool. But they also had basically this whole like fucking floor of like these decked out cars, but they all had like these dope like anime either inspired or just literal like anime skins on them. And one, which was my obvious favorite, was some dude had a Naruto like car that had awesome. Kurama like all painted, along like the back and the sides of the car, and the license plates like said Uzumaki, and he had like Boruto clips like playing in the window, which I don't know how he fucking managed that. But like,
really cool, man.
It was dope. Yeah. And it was like there was another one that had like Nezuko on the hood of the car.
Yeah, Nezuko was popping.
Yeah,
at this
by the way, I
convention.
think it was
Demon
Nezuko,
Slayer?
Ryuk. Or not Ryuk. No, right? From Demon Slayer?
Are you thinking about Death Note?
Ryuk is Death Note.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm thinking of the dude from Demon Slayer, but his name... I can't remember his name.
What describe him?
he's got the kimono that's like half one color and half red.
Oh, you're right. The guy, like the
Tokiyoma.
Sasuke guy.
Tokiyoma.
Yeah.
So I was saying Nezuko, Tokiyoma, and Todoroki were like the three like stars of this convention. Everybody and their mother was dressed as one of those three characters.
Yeah. Wow.
I guess they were what's up.
No,
They
it was
were trending.
popping. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of Inosuke's we saw there as well.
Yeah.
actually,
even
surprisingly,
saw
yeah.
we even saw an Inosuke like, but specifically of when he was in bed, like bedridden.
That
from
was
the
funny.
Scene.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
yeah,
He
that
had like
was-
a bed, like a plate up behind him walking around.
Yeah, and
That was really
to
dope.
get back to the Kurama car, that one was cool because it was the only one that I remember that was like a straight up muscle car, comparatively speaking to the
Okay,
rest of them. Like
okay.
a lot of them had that very like Eastern, like Asian style, like sports style car.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like where it
yeah,
was a lot of
yeah.
it, like a lot of smooth edges and like spoilers and shit
there
like
was a couple
that.
Subarus and things
Yeah,
like that.
I don't know what the
RXs.
Kurama one was specifically, like the
I think
make
it
of
was a
it.
Charger.
But it was like
don't
very.
say
It
was a
definitely
Charger.
screamed like very like American muscle to
Yeah,
me. Like
it
when I
was,
saw it,
it
you know what I
was.
mean? Like that one in particular was very.
But
cool.
they actually did a really good job on that paint. Like,
Oh, it was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah,
The
yeah.
car,
It
the
looked
cars were
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, that was really cool. And the video games were sweet as well. They even had for anyone who's interested, events where you could play card games like Magic the
They had a
Gathering or
bunch of,
Yu-Gi-Oh or like
Pokemon.
or new ones. They would have like a list up and be like learn to play
Yeah,
X
yeah,
game right
yeah.
at X time. Yeah, that was really cool. And then
And then, so I think the next thing that we did was probably the Naruto celebration, right? It was
yeah, because we browsed a little bit after, and we came to the realization. You'll see again if when post the video and like how that's cut up. We do say, hey, we're gonna try and hit like the cosplayer area. What we were kind of ignorant of is that the cosplay quote unquote area there really was no specific area, although like the map says there was.
So
It really was just the main
basing this
hall.
off of what you were saying about Comic-Con, which is like
Correct.
there seemed to be like separated areas where the cosplayers would meet, take pictures and like do posings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But one, I guess we figured just from the sheer difference in weather from Comic-Con to now, it was brick cold outside, so like nobody wants to be outside. But yeah, there was no one spot for cosplayers to meet up. Everybody was kind of like
it was
intertwined.
Anime Con comparatively speaking. I was going a lot off Comic Con because it was at the same place. It was at the Javits Center in New York, and like a lot. I was familiar with the layout because I went to Comic Con only but a month ago. So a lot of that was in my mind still. But when I neglected to realize that Anime Con isn't quite as big. So there's like small nuanced differences, and again because of the weather, Comic Con had an outside area in the parking lot, quote unquote, that had like all the cosplayers just taking pictures. So we came to realize that there was really no specific spot for cosplaying. It was just kind of like everyone on the main floor, like not in the art gallery or special events room, like was just okay. If you see a cool cosplayer, like everyone's just taking photos. Or
Which, to be honest, I actually kind of like. More, like, I think because they had also like cosplay meetups, right? Which is where they may have that schedule, and certain hours of the day they would be like, all right, we're doing a like Demon Slayer meetup, where it's like anybody who's cosplaying as anything Demon Slayer meets up in like one corner of the building, and they'll take photos and stuff, and like that's where like if you want to do like a theme or a specific thing, you can go do that. But I kind of like just being able to wander anywhere in the convention and you just see somebody wearing a dope thing and be like, yo, can we take a picture real quick?
And that was kind of the case too at Comic-Con as well. And again, like, whatever the case might be, I have a feeling if like they get a little bigger at Anime Con, they'll probably have a section, you know what I mean, as it stands. But as it was right now, we realized that as we were browsing around, we're like, okay, so we'll just take them as they come, and we got some cool shots. I posted a lot on my Instagram story, and I know Gavin got
the
camera
main
shots.
things were, I guess, the artist alley, like the recreational stuff in the games, and then panels and events. So that was all like downstairs stuff.
Yeah.
So after the artist alley, the first event I think we went to was the Naruto celebration. Right?
Yeah, it was the 20th anniversary after we browsed a little.
Yeah, which was really cool. They had like a panel there. It was like a whole like celebration. They brought in Amanda Miller and Mel Flanagan, who are the English voice actors for Naruto and Boruto, which was really cool. We got they like interviewed them, asked some cool questions. We got to like it was kind of like a retrospective flashback on like the show's journey and like the past 20 years of like this story and this manga. And they had some interviewed questions for both the voice actors and stuff, and it was really cool. It was really like insightful to like hear answers and about stories and stuff that like wouldn't have known otherwise.
Flanagan was fucking hilarious too.
Yeah, she
was
chick.
funny. I've never actually, obviously I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
really or even heard her as her, you know what I mean? Before,
yeah.
and hilarious. She was funny. Just kind of like she was really quick witted, and she was coming out with all these jokes, and like just her voice in general is like very unique and iconic. Also sounds like she smoked a pack of cigarettes before she got on stage. So
I just like that because I could see it in your face. You're like, am I going to mention that? No, leave it out. No, fuck it. I'm going to say it.
I was like, I feel like a dick, but like honestly, I don't even mean that in like a bad way. Although I guess it's kind of hard for you not to take it like that. Fair enough, but I'm an asshole. I'm just relegated to that. Fucking hysterical though, dude. Like it was just so. She was just. That voice on top of every joke she was making was just made it that much funnier, but really cool and down to earth as well. She was very nice, and so was Amanda.
Yes.
And the questions were good. They did like prizes that they give out for trivia. So like Isaiah,
I had a problem with this.
Yeah, Isaiah was very upset about
this.
But
so at this time it was cool because we met up with your friend Vince.
Yeah,
who's also a really big Naruto fan.
Shout out Vince.
And I was sitting next to him, and it was just funny because there were moments where like. So they would ask these random trivia questions to the audience, and they would be like, "Oh, whoever first." The rules fundamentally just didn't make sense to me because they're like, "Oh, whoever raises your hand first will get called on."
Impossible.
There's like 90,000 people in this room. How are you going to know who the fuck puts their hand up first?
No.
You're not. You're going to pick whoever stands out the most or whoever looks the coolest, i.e., whoever's wearing the most flamboyant outfit,
or in the front.
Inherently, seems unfair. But whatever.
Isaiah was salty about that.
But these questions didn't make any sense because in my mind I'm like, oh, trivia. They're gonna be, with 700 plus fucking chapters of this show to reference, we can ask some interesting trivia questions. Literally, the first two questions are, what is Boruto's dad's name, and what is Boruto's dad's son's name?
Isaiah was salty, to say the least. He looked at me and he's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I would literally turn to Vince and he'd be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, I know, right? And he's like, oh my god. Obviously,
everyone's hand would shoot up immediately.
And then they would go from kindergarten level questions to like some random college essay level question where they're like, in all of Naruto's anime history, the one episode that Mel Flanagan didn't voice Naruto in? And you're like, what the fuck, dude? How do you do that? How do you go from 0 to 100?
I would say, to be fair, I think it was because of just the visceral change, like the total 180.
That's
that it was
like
pissed us off.
Because
if it was like
fine.
that, and if it was those types of trivia questions, like that hard one, like from the get go, it would be like, okay, people are working for these prizes, right? Yeah. But it was just such a flop. It was funny because they're like, Flanagan, do you want to ask? And she goes, okay, there's an episode where I voiced someone else that wasn't Naruto because Naruto isn't in the episode. Like, what episode was it? And people were really struggling with that one. They couldn't get it. And just in case you go to a con and you get hit with that question, you're going to win some cool shit. It's episode 500, by the way. So she voices some like old grandma or something in the episode. Just throwing it out there so you get the leg up on that one. But like, I don't think anyone got that.
That question was like, I was like, that's kind of dumb because it's like so random and specific, but it was like, whatever. The other one, though, that Amanda asked? Yeah,
it was about Boruto.
Was even weirder because she's like, what is the reason that Boruto's not wearing a headband in the first episode? And people had like all these alternate reasons, which I was like, oh shit, really? Is that it? Because they like sounded legit. And she's like, nope, that's not it. And she's like, do you want to know the real reason? She's like, the animators or whoever forgot to draw it in. And you're like, okay, but also canonically, he wouldn't have had a headband anyway because he was in the academy.
I love
he graduated and became a genin, so he literally wouldn't have a headband anyway.
I love how salty Isaiah was getting over this because it's just so fucking hysterical, dude.
People were actually saying that. They're like, oh, he's not in the academy yet.
So
and she'd look and she'd be
I literally said that, and then Vince turned to me and he was like, yeah, that's it. That's got to be it. And he raised his hand to say it. And I'm like, yeah, do it, because that's the right answer. And then someone in front of us said it, and she's like, no. And I'm like, but yes.
People were salty about it. It was fucking hysterical. But besides that whole panel was really cool. Again, they were very down to earth, very funny individuals. The whole panel was funny in general because they were referencing funny shit, like when Naruto does the harem jutsu on Kyuga, or like when Sasuke and Naruto kiss or whatever, you know what I mean? They're going over things in the manga. And then folks got up for questions as well from the audience, and I'm just going to throw this out there to anyone who maybe wants to create content or is like dying to ask a question.
Well, before you get into
go ahead,
I'm going to preference. We get it, right? You go to these conventions, you like save up, your money and your time, and you're excited. You're finally like in a room and you get to meet with and discuss and talk to and engage with the people who either make the stuff or work on it, whatever. I get it, emotions and like you're high. That being said, I do believe that these things inherently would just run better if everybody, fans included, understand like the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So when we ended this panel, the guy says, okay, we've got 7 minutes left. If anybody wants to come up quick and ask questions, you can. Literally half of the panel room got up and
there's
lined
like 1,000 people
out, like up until they were all outside the door. And I was like, dude, we have 7 minutes. We're not even getting to 2/3 of these dudes. Why are you all standing up? And it's like,
it's just kind of that's number one is realizing if you really want to ask a question and you're like ready to go, like when you're like you're like at the starting line ready to sprint up there and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, like, my question is that important, I need to get up there, I get it. But if you're like wrapped around the back of the fucking room and you see there's like at least 10 plus people in front of you, I'll say 20 just to be nice. If there's like 20 plus people, because they could do rapid fire, but like if there are 20 plus people in front of you, don't even waste your time, dude. Like, I'm not trying to dash your dreams here, but like if they say we have 5,
you're
7,
gonna inherently
10 minutes,
be more disappointed when you're standing there for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and they don't get to
and
you.
they're gonna cut you off, dude. Like, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, okay, and this is where my beef was. Really think out the question that you're gonna ask, right?
Yeah.
Because the first guy, and probably a great guy, okay, really nice dude, okay, but like, okay, people have this issue, right, where I feel like they overestimate how into their work these people are. And that might come off wrong. It's not a knock, right? So, like, here's my example. So the guy went up and he goes, hi, I've been with you on this journey, basically. He didn't even say it this well. Yeah. His wording was off. I'm doing him a service. He said, like, I've been on this journey with you for, like, 30, or however the fuck long. Like, for the 20 years, right? That you've been there. I've been in from the beginning. You guys have been a huge inspiration on me, yada, yada, yada. He's like, I've always been waiting to see you, finally in person, and to ask you questions, right? So I'm like, okay, this must be some, like, dying shit. So he goes in, and he's like, so... there's a movie, like, the movie after this, by the way, for anyone who's watched, like, the Naruto series and stuff, like, we're giving you a pass if you didn't watch the movies, okay? Like, I've watched the movies, but, like, you don't need to really watch, in my opinion, to, like, kind of understand what's going on, and my point is that, like, most people probably aren't as into the movies that were made as the show itself, so that's number one, okay? Then he goes, in said random-ass movie, I forgot, he goes, to Flanagan, he goes, what was your favorite line you said in that movie? Now, number one, that movie was made about probably what? Isaiah, correct me if I'm wrong. At least what, like 10 years ago? Yeah. Maybe a little.
It's been a minute.
That's number one.
To be fair, the movie he was talking about of the Naruto movies is the only movie that's canon. So he's the only movie that holds any
fair
actual
enough.
weight.
Fair
but
holds a candle.
I still agree with you. And still...
So number one, the movie was probably made about 10 years ago. Okay. Number two, this is what my point I'm getting at. If you actually think that Flanagan goes through and, like, rewatches these movies or, like, remembers
the lines
extensively reads the manga or, like, remembers, like, these lines from this exact movie, like, they don't do that. If Flanagan's gonna remember a line, it's not because of that movie, it's because of, like, a crazy thing that may have happened within that or something that, like, inspired her.
Or something going on.
You can't ask her, like, what's your favorite line from that movie specifically, right?
Like, believe it.
Exactly. She said believe it a lot, and it's like that makes sense because it's so redundant. It's said all the time.
Yeah.
Or like if there was a specific scene, like maybe she was referencing the Jiraiya arc when he's fighting Pain, or when she's fighting Pain, whatever. Right? Like things like that. Yeah. Or like you would ask, like, what was your favorite line of all time? Because then you think of a story. You don't ask, what was your favorite line from this specific movie? Because, like I said, you're overestimating how much Flanagan or any of these people actually, you as a fan, know.
And she made a point to say this, that the fans definitely know way more about the show and the series and its content than she does, or anybody
Flanagan
who works on
does
it.
this as a job, and yes, of course she's going to be into it, and this character has had a huge impact on her life, but Flanagan does not put a quarter or a tenth of the time into researching this shit that you do as a fanatic. That's what fan is short for of this series. So, just as a thing, because I looked at Isaiah when he asked that, and she looked at him, she didn't even know how the fuck to respond, and I look at him and I'm like, oh my god, dude. I'm about to start shoving people out of the way.
It was just so bad. It was bad, one, because, like we were saying before, the number of people that are going to be able to get up here and ask questions to begin with is already limited. So it sucks when, like, person 97 in the back, we know this dude's not getting up to ask his question, but it's because maybe person number 1 made it there first, but has the dumbest question in the world to ask. And you're like, dude, you're taking up everybody's time with this ridiculous stuff.
I hate to throw that guy under the bus, but like, it's just, it's a lesson to be learned, number 1, and number 2, like I said, probably a great guy, and it was respectable how much he was invested in this series, and she was flattered by that, as were we all as fans, because we have that commonality. But like, again, if you're gonna go up there and you've been waiting for 20 fucking years to ask a question,
just for reference, and this is jumping ahead a little bit into day 3, but when we did the My Hero panel, I actually think for the most part, most of the questions that were asked were really good questions, including there was the first question that was asked. She references the creator of My Hero Academia took a lot of inspiration from American comics and American superheroes when he was making My Hero. So I think it was a woman. She asked, all the voice actors, what American superhero or what American comic book hero do they think
inspire you?
And that's a dope. That's a good question.
Because they're like, okay, Batman. There's a lot of Batmans, and then it was like someone said
the Flash
or something. You know what I mean? It's like very everyone could relate to that, and it's like that guy. Again, I don't want to harp on it too long, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm giving you some life hacks from our experience.
Because also the other thing is like with the Naruto panel and the My Hero panel, like there's has to be upwards of 200 people, right? Like, there's a lot of people in there, and you're waiting to get into these things for a long-ass time. And even if you get there at, like, the tail end, 20 minutes, maybe half hour, just standing in these rooms, basically, not rooms, but, like, the floor, boxed in, feeling like with, like, 100 people, and you're just standing there, like, sweat. Like, you're waiting for so long that, like, it's just a letdown if you get in there and somebody's like, what's your favorite color? Dude, that's not what we're here to fucking... Who cares?
So needless to say, Flanagan didn't have an answer for him because she was like, I have no clue what any of the lines were in that movie, as we all knew. So that was just my second life hack. You're welcome. To anyone out there who's dying to ask a question, really just put it in perspective, like how much time you're going to have, what your question's going to be, and if realistically this person can actually answer your question the way you kind of wanted it to be answered, in a sense, right? If like that's what you were burning for. Yeah. Just throwing it out there, but they did the questions. There were a couple ridiculous questions compared to the My Hero one were terrible because like everybody else's questions were like totally off topic, or if it was like something like silly or ridiculous and like not deep, but whatever. Just throwing it out there. I'm saying if you want to stand out from the crowd, ask something that like that they can relate to like on an emotional and personal level,
or
that
come
like
with a dope ass cosplay.
or come with a dope cosplay because they love that shit when you come in. That's all the people who won prizes, obviously, like we said before.
Yeah.
But getting off that, and poor Gavin, because I felt this wrath the next day, but how was it holding the camera that whole time? Because I have words for the My Hero one. We swapped around. Gavin was the cameraman for this whole thing,
yeah, so
and
all
he was awesome.
That you guys see was from Gavin.
Yeah, and seriously,
really got into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
hats off, dude.
I want
seriously.
to let you talk about it, but like there are moments where I would just peek over and he's getting these angles.
Yeah, man, it was awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit was a lot of fun, especially with the gimbal that I got. Like, I never really had time in preparation to this event to like really go out and like fuck around with it, like I knew enough to get around, but not like days.
Sure,
like, you know what I mean? So no, it was just fun, and like as I'm going through the settings, I'm getting more used to it. So I'm like trying different things. Yeah. But no, it was awesome, except for when we got to the Naruto 20th anniversary, because sitting there and holding that shit up, dude, like it's a Sony camera, but it's on a fucking gimbal, and all together with one arm, like holding it above everybody's head so it doesn't autofocus on them, and like try to zoom in and get as close as you physically can, while in your seat, because you can't just like get up and move around, like you gotta sit there.
And it's the physics of weight. Even if you're holding 20 pounds, if you hold 20 pounds for 2 hours, it's gonna hurt because you're holding weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's and we were like in the back for this one because again, even coming 30, 45 minutes early, you're like the 500th person there. Like people are in line for like over an hour. So that's another thing. If you think there's gonna be prizes given out, maybe not, or if like you really want to get up in there, like you gotta wait pretty early for these panels, especially these big ones. Like it's a big deal, and I could relate to Gavin's pain because we'll get into it later. But don't just fucking put to the side what he's saying, because I was the one who held the camera for the My Hero panel the next day, which we'll get into, and holy fuck, my shoulders were on fire, dude. So I'm like, Gavin, I appreciate you so much for holding this camera the entire time.
Well, that's the thing. It was like the whole day leading up. You're you're doing like trying to get cool shit and you're on the camera and it's like, all right, you're gonna sit down and hold it in this one spot as still as possible. Dude, like my arms were shot. So like if you're watching the video and it looks like I'm having an epilepsy, just like appreciate it.
And the My Hero one too.
I was trying to get it to lock, but it was like it was off its axis a little bit, so it kept on slowly going to the right. Pissing me off. So you'll see the camera like kind of jolt back slowly. So
I did the same thing. There's probably ones in mine where it's just completely off. Like you just see some random dude's head and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
There was work put into this. There's no
that was
doubt.
crazy.
No doubt.
So after the Naruto panel.
So after the Naruto panel, we actually left. We went to go get something to eat. We came back to the room to drop off our stuff.
That was a story, huh?
Eat, and then we were coming back because our friend Vince said that there was another panel at 9:00, which was like the closing panel for this night, which was the HiDive Dirty Talk like special panel.
For anyone 18 plus.
Yes,
and I'm assuming most of the people that listen to the show are probably 18 plus anyway because we're pretty raunchy. But if you're not, you got to be 18 to get into these.
And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't one of my honestly, like if I had to pick top 3 moments. It was great, and even the lead up to this, by the way, because Isaiah, I love you to death, but like we can laugh about this now. Isaiah was like literally bitching so much about everything. He was like, "I'm tired. I'm just anybody."
So you can defend yourself. It's fine because there's times.
No, I will because I feel that it's valid. I love all the things that New York has in it. And I love all the opportunities and all the places that like it has that you can just walk to and go. I hate every single thing about New York as a place. These fucking ridiculous walks that you have to do to get to these places. The drastic temperature from going into a literal fucking like tundra of Arctic weather to like leave our apartment to this giant fucking building that we're trapped with 9,000 people of all different body heats and perspirations.
Dude.
And fucking... I don't want to get. We don't have the time to get into it, but I hate everything.
It was so funny. Isaiah has been bitching like this whole time, and I'm fucking cracking up because when we came in, I was like, yeah, not a huge fan of the city. Not gonna lie, after being here, I'm like, I actually like this, and Isaiah's like, you're a fucking idiot. Like he's like, our opinions are like total polar opposite. Hilarious. I like it because it's like no bullshit. Like it's speed. Like everyone's like go 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 go, and they're like getting to the next thing done. I like that because it's like the people are like blunt and like abrupt, and it's like, but I appreciate that because it's like, okay, you know what I want, I know what I want, let's get on to the next thing. I like that. Isaiah didn't. Gavin seems like, I don't know, that Gavin was like kind of indifferent.
I'm indifferent. I like my personal space.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I just want like a house with neighbors slightly out of view distance.
Yeah. So the city might not be the place, but
suburban.
it's definitely definitely would. My opinions, I might be singing a different tune if I had to live here for like an extended period of time. So, but that's just, again, we've only been here for 3 days, but it was hilarious, and the reason I bring that up is because it makes this After Dark show, or the 9:00 show, it was called, what was it called? Like Talk Dirty or something? HiDive's Talk Dirty. That's, and it made it all the much sweeter with the lead up, in my opinion. So Isaiah, again, like I said, was like not having a lot of the shit. We were, dude, coming out of the Naruto
because
panel,
also, to be fair, Friday, the night before, Jesus Christ, your friend Vince went to the other like After Dark show.
They had one on a Friday.
And he was trying to tell us to go to that, and I was like, is it good though? Like, is it worth it? And then when we got to the Saturday, day 2, he was like, whatever, it wasn't really that good. So I was already doubtful of this thing anyway, and I was like, I don't fucking want to.
Spoiler alert, the Saturday one was fucking phenomenal.
It was literally
very glad that we went. Also, I know this is kind of off topic, but Isaiah mentioned it, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. Life hack 3, you're welcome. Watch how you dress when you come to these, because like as Isaiah mentioned, I have never, you tell we're all fucking sick. Part of that is due to these drastic temperature changes if you're coming to a convention in fucking November, because our hotel, hot as balls up here, not in a good way, okay? Like hot as fuck. Okay, that's number one.
Like right
then
now
you go outside,
we have to,
it's
air
hot.
conditioner's off,
The windows closed because you just hear horns and sirens the whole time. But so then you go outside, it's cold as shit, okay? But then, dude, once you get into the convention, because of so many bodies, that you literally feel the temperature rise by like a solid 20 degrees, like immediately.
And I think, like, you know what we're talking about. It's not like heat, like with the heater on.
It's like humidity and body heat,
which is a different kind, and you can totally feel the difference.
Oh man, it like sticks to you. It sticks to you. Yeah, it's like moss, and it's like tough because you kind of have to bring a jacket when you're walking around outside. But like, I guess what I could say is that try and bridge the gap and be moderate when, like, dress in something that's warm for walking outside, but isn't, like, heavy.
Yeah,
because
so you can
like,
take it off
anything that's, like, a heavy jacket, you're gonna regret in a minute. Like, if you at least have, like, maybe a thin hoodie, or, like, something that you can, like, wrap around your waist, or, like, roll up the sleeves, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, you could easily kind of, like, strip down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend it, because holy shit, dude.
That's
like, the more stuff you have to carry, and the higher you go, elevated, you know, because heat rises. Science brain right here. You know.
This just in.
Yeah, this just in. Heat rises. Fucking pretty brutal. So that's life hack 3. I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there before we went on. But anyway, so Isaiah was not having it, all right, during the city. So we get back to the hotel. We were thirsty as shit coming out of the Naruto convention because we didn't bring water in there, okay? Yeah. Thirsty as a motherfucker. Isaiah and I are like lightheaded and fucking Gavin's shoulders are fucking shot. We were pretty beat, okay? Yeah. So we walked back to the hotel. We kind of just kicked it here for a minute because we were like, we gotta fucking relax a second. Yeah. It's a day, man. It's not like you're just out here, you're just having fun. Like, granted, it's fun, but like, it's fucking work. And especially for us trying to record and things like that, especially Gavin, you know, there's a lot. Like, you're getting to the next thing. So anyway, we kind of chill in the hotel for a minute, and they were like, let's go something to eat. So, I'm like, okay, so I look up, like, food near me, and I didn't want to have a burger again, because that one gave me just an off feeling. It was like a brick in my gut. The night before was huge. So we're like, all right, you want to get, like, pizza or something, right? No, I lied. We wanted to get ramen. We wanted to get ramen first because we wanted to be part of the culture, okay? So we're like, ramen near me. So we look it up. There's one that's like rated number 3 Japanese cuisine in New York City. It's not that far. It's like a mile, if that, half a mile away. We're like, word. Let's go to that. So
apparently everyone else in Anime NYC
go to that
also did
and
this.
Fucking hell, dude. There was like, it's really our fault because clearly at an anime convention, right by the fucking convention where everyone's here for anime shit,
and it's one of the top 3.
Yeah, clearly that place is gonna be fucking loaded with people. So we went there and the line was out the door, dude, and we were like, fuck that. So I look and I'm like, there's a pizza joint up the road.
Not even. I think I saw a pub. Like, just because of its lights.
That was it,
and I was like, let's just walk that way.
Yep.
On the way, you were like, oh no, there's pizza next door.
And Ian looked, he's like, 99-cent pizza. And he's like, well, I guess if it's going to kill me, it's going to kill me.
Yeah, it was like next to a pub, and we're like, let's just get it. And it's $1 pizza because New York's pretty fucking expensive. And I'm like, guys, obviously, we went in thinking this was going to be like lunch cafeteria food, but I was like, I don't really care. We went in there. Isaiah was hella salty again because we got it.
New York sucks.
I didn't mind it. I'm like, yo, give me 2 plain. He's like, 2. And I basically like just hucked $2 out of him.
God forbid you ask for pepperoni on your plain pizza. Isaiah, and not only do they forget your order, but then try to double charge you when you simplify it down to plain pizza.
Life hack 4. If you're gonna go into a place in New York City, okay, that's like is there for simplicity and for being cheap. Don't be extravagant. And even pepperoni is extravagant, the way I saw it. Isaiah's shaking his head right now, but I'm like, bro, you get plain and only plain. Like, if you got places to be, I'm like, plain. Boom. Threw the money at him, had it in like 2 minutes, done. Paid $2, had 2 slices of pizza.
What a fool
The whole tax thing threw me off, because that's why I was going to throw him $2, but I'm like, wait, isn't it $2.14? Like, no, in my mind, I'm like, fuck.
No, it was just $2. He didn't charge you $2.14.
But even then, he didn't charge me, so he looked at the guy and he was like, 2. And then he looked at me
like everyone in there, dude, like, we're regulars, because they walked in and literally like hucked a fucking $1 bill at the guy and he's like, plain. And like, really fucking like
it was
blunt.
insane because I was like, 2. He looked over, he's like, 2. And he's staring at me. And I'm like, all right, you want my card? Like, what am I doing? And then he's just staring at me. And I'm like,
I guess the word here is inefficient.
And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him and he's like, 2 plain, right?
The guys
like,
were kind of dickheads.
I just walk away. And I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
The guy gives me the pizza and I'm like looking and I walk over to pay. And the guy's just staring at me, and I'm like, do you want me to give you my card or what? And he's just looking. And
I don't know.
And literally I put the pizza on the fucking in front of him, and I'm like, I'm eating this. This is mine. I didn't pay. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, $2. And I'm like, fuck kill you!
Yeah,
like,
dude, I think I was the only one who just like
walked out
picked up on the vibe, like, because the guy was like a really blunt, and most people would be like, you're a dick, and he was, but like, I picked up on like, okay, this guy's like $2 piece. Like, I just immediately just took it out of my wallet and like essentially chucked it at him and was like, here's your money, and like went over. I don't know, I just like got that vibe that it was like, this guy's like, okay, get the fuck out of my face. You know what I mean? It was a weird dynamic.
No,
Isaiah was not about it.
Pepperoni pizza, and I order pepperoni pizza, I should be able to get the pepperoni pizza that I order, and there shouldn't be any fucking
I
fuss
was
about it.
fucking pissed off, dude.
I don't. If you went to fucking Pizza Hut and ordered pepperoni pizza, and they took fucking 9 hours to get it to you, and then didn't give it to you, and then tried to double charge you, would you be upset?
To be fair, it was hilarious because I ordered after Isaiah, and me and Ian got our pizza fucking.
No, not
instantly.
only you. After both of you went, some chick comes in after me, after I've been sitting there for 10 minutes, orders 3 slices, 1 plain, 2 pepperoni, and gets her whole thing before me. And I'm like,
no,
yeah.
I noticed too because Gavin and I waited outside and we looked inside. I'm looking and I'm like, that guy never threw. I'm looking at the worker and I'm like, that guy never threw pepperoni in that oven yet. And I'm like, I don't know if he's got a pizza chilling in there already, but I was about to go in and be like, Isaiah, did that guy even throw it in? And like the lesson learned is to like, again, like, be assertive. Be like, yo, where's my shit? You know, like, you don't have to be a dick, but, like, be like, yo, did you throw that in? Because, again, the next day, we went to get breakfast, and that happened. Where I was like, I'd like a muffin. I was like, I want it toasted with butter, and the guy said it, but no, I didn't see. I was looking at the employees, and no one threw it in there. So I go to the lady, and I was like, hey, I got a muffin. Like, no one threw it in there. And, like, she's like, okay, let me do that. And it was like, again, it was like, it's very, like, it's like you got to be, like, almost pushy. You know what I mean? In, like, a sense, like, it was interesting. But anyway, Isaiah was salty. We got kind of like lost. Our bearings were lost. We get back to the con. Okay, Isaiah was still fucking pissed. All right, he's like tired. He's fucking ate his fucking plain pizza. We get in there, hot as balls. We get in line. Isaiah's just mad. By the way, there's also this other thing in New York that they do. It's called the New Yorkers Call, which we didn't know of because we're from New Jersey, and it's where someone will just go. And just scream it. Everyone starts screaming, and they're like, "Ah!" The whole
forgot the best part for literally no reason whatsoever, other than to just make noise.
Isaiah's getting pissed again, and so no. At first,
I'm sorry. At heart, I am an introvert. I appreciate social gatherings and I like meeting people. But if you're just making noise for the sake of making noise or doing stupid, inefficient stuff for the fuck of it,
the best part about that noise. No, the good part was when
there was no good part.
No, there wasn't.
I liked it.
And you'll agree. The first time that they did it and we didn't know what it was, literally me and Isaiah were walking recording, all we hear is people start screaming. Ian's natural instinct was just to turn around to where the noise was, and he just hauled ass to ran. Like me and Isaiah were looking at there, we were like, what is this dumb ass doing? He's just running.
I remember because I was talking to somebody. I was talking to a cosplayer who was cosplaying like All For One, and I was talking to him, and I literally turned around for 2 seconds, and then I hear the scream, and I turn, and just Gavin standing behind me, and I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, where's Ian? He was like, he ran towards the noise.
Yeah.
What? He's like, yeah, he just ran up the stairs. I don't know where he went. I'm like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
That's just my natural reaction to, like, if there's some, like, wild shit going on or people are, like, getting rowdy, I want to run towards it.
But that's my point. If, like, cosplayers had met up to, like, do some fight reenactment, that's hype shit. If these niggas are just yelling for the sake of yelling, that's the dumbest reason to yell I've ever heard. And it's
so on the track of Ian running to get what he wants, let's bring it back to that late night or the night show that we watched.
Yeah.
When we fucking walked in to go get our seats, literally the door opened. We were like, oh, okay, there's seats right here in the middle. All we see is fucking Ian. Me and Isaiah look over. Ian runs all the way to the front and squeezes on this seat. And me and Isaiah are looking at him and we're like, well, I guess he's not sitting with us. We're like, all right.
Because we didn't even know fully what this was going to be. Like, it was called something, Talk Dirty, HiDive. And I'm like, okay, that could mean a plethora of things. Like, I'm like, is there going to be a literal person up there, like, talking dirty into a mic? Is it going to be a movie? I'm like, I don't know what this is. So I'm like, all I know is I want to be right up in the action because I'm a degenerate. So, like, immediately we walked in and the girl goes, there's seats up front. And I just fucking sprinted up front to get the fucking seats.
Like, yo, come with me or nothing.
Well, I turned to Gavin, I go, I guess there's not 3 seats up in the front. Well, guess we're sitting back here.
No, there was, but I thought you guys followed me. I just...
No, the only hears the girl go, oh, if there's seats next to you, please raise your hand. And Ian's fucking, like, standing on the seat waving to us, and we're like, and we're not, like, paying attention to what she's saying, so we're like, what's going on? And you just see Ian waving at us, so we're like, all right, fuck it, and... we finally get some seats. We finally sit down.
Isaiah was still salty, by the way, because in the line, he's like, I'm hot, I'm tired, I don't want to be here. He's like, if I don't see somebody naked.
I was livid. I was like, if I don't see one fully naked woman, I will riot. I will grab all the horny dudes in this place, because I knew they were all just as horny as I was, and I will fucking riot. I will bring this place to the ground. So, this thing finally fucking starts, and it's these 2 dudes who were from the HiDive booth.
There's a chick and a guy.
There's a chick and a dude from the HiDive booth, and basically what they were doing was the panel essentially was an advertisement for
HiDive, right?
For HiDive, but specifically for their home video selection on their streaming site.
It's essentially hentai.
If you don't, so it's not
fully.
Yeah,
okay,
what it is, the distinction is their home video portion of their content that's already on HiDive that you can stream normally. So you can watch, your normal, lewd content with all its censors intact and whatnot, but if you're a real ass nigga or you're a degenerate, much like myself,
I'm the degenerate.
Yeah, you don't want that. That stuff's just in the way. I'm trying to watch this show in all its glory. You can get rid of the censor stuff the short end is like there's a setting when you're watching a show. You can go in and select like home video version, which takes away all the censors. On the bare minimum, that's it. That's what this was an advertisement for. But it was done absolutely beautifully. So the best way I possibly think you could have advertised this was they decided to play games with the audience.
Even before that, though. Because Isaiah says that, right? Isaiah turns to me, because they're getting ready, and Isaiah goes, I swear to God, if I don't see someone fully naked, I'm going to riot. Because he's, like, verbatim. He literally did say that next to me. I'm cracking up. The way they opened this show is like, you guys all ready? And, dude, the fucking dudes, especially, it was a motherfucking dog pound in there, dude. They were like, they were literally barking. They were going crazy. Then they go, we got a clip. And, like, their clip was to warm you up and, like, get you hyped. And it was just a montage of, like, hentai and titties everywhere, dudes sucking on titties, asses, like, everything. It was just fucking, like, naked women.
How do I say this? Mosaic.
Yeah, there was fucking dudes in there doing like homoerotic shit too. There was lesbian. It was the whole fucking night.
Sex and love,
dude. It came on and the fucking crowd erupted, dude. It was just like,
dude, you have made it a fair point to iterate that I was salty, but I'm pretty sure I was not the only one. I'm pretty sure other people in this audience were just as either confused and or upset as I was. I feel like just that clip alone quenched all
it did, because I
doubt.
looked at Isaiah, and Isaiah looked at me with like these big ass eyes and his mouth open. We looked at each other, and it was just pandemonium broke out in the fucking hall. And Isaiah was like, all of his saltiness just left him, and it was all sweet from there.
Pure sugar,
and he was pure sugar, and fucking we're cracking up, and the crowd went fucking wild to get this hyped. And I'm like, I don't know what this is still, but I am so glad we came here, dude. It was fucking
and I'm gonna be
wild.
honest. I would have just taken that, right? Then the rest of the time, the rest of the half hour in this panel was just fucking cherries on top, right? I would have just taken this and been like, good, I'm done, let's go home,
Dude.
But they took it a step further.
Man.
To advertise like all of their home video versions of the content, they decided to play a game, which is basically fan dubbing. This is actually a pretty, at least to my knowledge, like well-known-ish like game / phenomenon.
It has to be because the guy next to you or one over for you, there was someone in between. When she said we're playing this game, it was like Phantom Duel or whatever, Phantom Dub. Like he literally went, yeah,
dude,
and that's
why he got picked first because she's like, oh, well, so
Discord servers and stuff dedicated to this, where people will take clips from anime and like fan dub them, meaning like they get their friends in on it and they just like make up lines to random anime clips and stuff, which is always funny and like cool because you can just say whatever the fuck you want. However, in the context of lewd content, this fan dubbing was fucking phenomenal. So basically the way it worked is they would show a clip, which I think averaged somewhere around 30 seconds in length-ish, of some lewd scene from some lewd anime. And they would bring up two audience volunteers to fan dub, at all the characters in whatever scene.
Yeah, they would play the scene again, but with no voices.
Right, so at first they would play the actual scene in its entirety, so you could hear what the context was, you'd get a little bit of context to jump off of, and then they would play it without sound and let the fans dub it.
Dude.
Some of the people
oh my God.
that got up to do these volunteers, it was
fucking hysterical, dude. First of all, when they're like, can we get a volunteer? Okay, Life Hack 5, what are we on, Life Hack 5 now? 4 or 5?
4.
If you're a female, okay, watch yourself. Be fucking careful with these. Like, dead ass, I was like, oh my gosh. Because, I get, you're not fooling me. Females get just as horny as dudes, but, they exemplify it in a different way. These dudes, man, when they fucking cut loose, I'm not lying when I said it was a fucking dog. And you don't think you can get that crazy because it's anime people, right? It's like they can't get that. Oh my God. They were, snarling at the fucking cage.
And people also do this often. We tend to group anime and hentai fans in the same category, and while there is overlap, they are two very different people. One of them has a very significant and specific drive towards what
these
kind of
dudes
stuff
were
watch.
ready to fucking knock down doors. They were ready.
I gotta be honest. There were several times when I was scared for the two people running the booth because at any moment there was enough testosterone and enough hormones. Dude. Like light lit up in this room to just break everything down. I thought at some point these people were going to storm the booth and just take everything.
And we couldn't record it because they said recording was strictly prohibited. Although a couple of brave souls, some of them snuck recordings. We weren't one of them because our camera was too big and it was like whatever. So like we were saying this and we looked at each other and we're like, this is the greatest thing. The only thing is no one's going to believe us. And like if you haven't been to one of these, you don't understand. Like when we are not exaggerating this. When it was like fucking wild.
If anything, we'll never be able to correctly explain the exact level of emotions that were alive in this room.
We got to talk about the first guy. Don't know his name, but a literal fucking legend. Okay, the first dude. Okay, screaming. There's this one guy who's been yelling, like, and you could tell he's big without even looking at him because you know, like, if someone's voice like carries and it's really deep, generally they're like probably a big dude. That's not always the case, but like you had the assumption this was one big gentleman.
Sure.
So. His voice was carrying. He was saying shit the whole time. He's in the total back. You don't even know what he's saying. He's like, doing all shit. So then they're like, okay, can we get a volunteer? So he's not the first one, right? If the first one was actually a guy next to us, he was in like a modern warfare thing.
Yeah.
They call him up. Okay, then they're like, okay, it takes 2 to tango, though. We need 2 people. So that guy goes wild in the back. So they call him and his girlfriend up. I think this guy...
No, just him. He brought his girlfriend.
Yeah. This guy...
like a regal nigga, he gets led up by his girlfriend.
Yeah,
led up by his girlfriend. And then he goes
I don't think he realized...
She's on the next one, because he was trying to get her, like,
yeah, he wanted to do one with her, I guess. Didn't realize. Comes up... Dude, this man was hype incarnate. He was literally this charisma on this fucking guy. This man was probably about, 320 pounds? Easy. He was probably about 6'2", maybe. 6'2", about 320 pounds. Ginormous dude. Okay, glasses on the whole nine. He comes up with his like, more petite girlfriend. Okay, hilarious. They come up. This man fucking snatches the mic, bro. Starts hyping everyone up immediately. He goes, "Can I get a hell yeah?" And everyone's like, "Hell yeah!" And the crowd, I was like, yes, this is the perfect fucking volunteer for the first one.
Ian and I looked at each other, and I was like, this is it.
I was fucking
We're in heaven.
cracking up,
and then
dude.
the guy who was in the Modern Warfare outfit, he had this like headset on, like for the night.
Yeah,
he was stoked too.
And the big guy looks at him, and he's like, "Yo!" and like points at him, and everybody starts screaming, "Yo!" And he's like, "Where'd you get that? I want it!" And he's like trying to buy this guy's headgear off of him.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
Like, so then the
the
first game ensues, and what it was is like we mentioned before, is fan dubbing of lewd anime from.
And you don't know what the scene's going to be before you volunteer.
The first scene is a gay scene between these two dudes, which was very appropriate, I would say, because both the volunteers were dudes. And immediately, so like we said, they play the actual scene first so that you can get context, and then they do the fan dubbing. They play the first scene, like the first time, and this dude immediately goes, No, I ain't signed up for this shit.
The big guy is like, fuck no. He's like, I didn't sign up for this shit. He's screaming. And then he goes, and I quote, "Mama didn't raise no queer." He goes, quoting, end quote. Okay, on there, don't at me. On that one, fucking screams at everyone's looking at each other like, can he say that? But this man was ginormous. No one was going to say he couldn't, okay?
But then, so they get to the end of the first
God,
scene, and they're getting ready to play the dub scene, and she's like, "You can opt out if you want. You could." And then that's when he says the second thing, which is, I quote, "Mama didn't raise no quitters."
Yeah, then he goes, "Mama didn't raise no quitters."
And he goes,
and he looks at the crowd.
Yeah, and he goes, "All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it for the people, for you all." And everyone
starts
erupts.
fucking erupted, dude. Isaiah and I are fucking, we're next to each other. Gavin was behind us, literally crying. I could not fucking hold myself. I was like, I couldn't have asked for a better fucking night.
No.
Fucking hysterical. Then they go into the scene, and oh my god, dude. Because so the scene, to describe it slightly, was like, there was a head chef and a younger guy, okay? And the head chef was like the dom, okay? Like, he was the dominant one, clearly. He was making moves, unlike the younger boy chef. And the younger boy chef has the knife, and he's like quivering from fear because he's like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And the older chef is like really making the moves on him. He's like, oh, your tip is quivering, blah, blah, like, blah, you know, like saying some lewd shit. So, clearly, a lot of these anime folks are not as well refined with their dirty talk. So, it was very blunt and to the point. And, dude, the fucking big guy had me crying because he was playing the part of the dominant older chef. And the other guy's kind of getting into like, oh please, like sir, don't blah blah. And the big guy is like, he goes, that's a nice dick you got there with the fucking knife. And he's like, I'ma stroke it. And he's just screwed on it. And then he goes, then there's a picture of an eggplant, and he just the big guy looks at the other guy and he's like, you see that shit? He goes, that's my whole dick in your ass. And just screws. Dude, I was fucking crying, dude. The whole crowd was fucking crying. It was the funniest fucking thing I have ever witnessed, like, almost in my life. I couldn't control myself.
Yeah.
Fucking dying, dude. He was going
The
on.
best part about this is that we're in a hotel, and everybody who was on our floor down,
Oh, 100% can hear
Yeah,
us.
everyone can hear this
And
right
they're
now.
onto us. They're sending up the police
it's like, it's funny because we'd be at bed at night, and somebody would walk down the hallway, and all you hear is Ian go, they're walking down the hallway way too fucking fast. I can hear the footsteps.
You know everyone in this hotel just heard that.
Screaming in
Dude,
the top.
I can't. You can't embody that man without getting loud though, because
Yeah.
like that was him.
You
His
can't,
voice
and
was so
his-
deep.
He was just at heart a fan of this content.
Dude,
He loved this shit,
it was-
and he was so hype about it. It was literally impossible not to become infected, like by his
His energy was
And-
infectious.
and
Like it was fucking amazing.
It was absolutely amazing. And also I do want to give a quick shout out to the actual people who ran the panel, because they were both pretty into it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
this
of
would
course.
have
You
been a
gotta
very
be.
different thing if they, if they were like very like,
Yeah.
But they weren't. They were cool, and they ran with the punches and whatever. It was fun. I don't want to go into every scene that played.
No, I did.
but-
We did that guy though, because when he was done, he was like, "Who?" He goes, "Who here wants to see an encore?" And everyone fucking erupted again. And obviously they can't let him go again because they got a time crunch here.
But-
and so the people, and then he's like, "What? Go ahead."
No, you continue. I got something.
No, you went up to them, and they're like giving him a prize, and the prize for each person volunteering was like a hentai DVD or whatever. And the guy's like, "I want another one," and he was like,
and she's like, "Sir," she's like, "I'm sorry, man, I can't. Maybe if you get called up again." He's like, "No, fuck that. Give me another one."
Dude, I was afraid he was gonna take her by the hair and slam her head into that fucking table. No one was. It was gonna take at least 5 people to get that guy off of her. She would have got fucked up, like in the time that it took.
Well, I realized why he did that. He wanted another one because he didn't go with his girlfriend. So his girlfriend walked him up.
Yes.
And, his thought process at the time probably was like, oh, I want one. My girlfriend's definitely fucking getting one.
Yeah.
And then the girl looked and she's like, no, because she realized, she's like, no, honey, your girlfriend or whatever, she's going next with this random volunteer who happened to be a guy coming down. And he looks at her and he goes, whoa, she's doing this with him? And I was like, oh, fuck, this is about to happen. And, like, the lady, she knew, she was like, fuck. She's like, I fucked up. So she's like, she whispers to the other guy, and I see him go through his computer, so they went to something, like, easier. And she's like, calm down, it's not going to be anything bad, don't worry. And then they went on the next...
that guy would have fucked both of them up at the same time.
Literally.
Dude, that was hilarious. That
This
whole
dude
time.
was great, because then even once he gets back to his seat, he did not stop yelling. The entire
Dude, you
time, no
heard
matter
him.
who was saying what, he's in the back shouting.
Dude,
the
and then we look back
craziest
at one
shit.
point he had a top hat on. I'm like, where did he get that? And he's just standing yelling shit at the top of his lungs.
This dude, I
fucking
think,
hysterical.
was an anime character.
Actual legend. I'm like, thank God this man exists, because my life has just been so enriched with your existence, and that was amazing. And like, I don't want to go through all of them, but I do want to reference the other guy who was really hype. It's hard to top the first guy, but the other kid had me fucking cracking up, dude.
He was a close second.
Yeah, so it was like, there was a close second kid, and this kid was going ham. He's yelling and jumping in the back to try and get picked the whole time, dude. Finally, his boys are all holding him up on their shoulders because they're like, you gotta pick this man. And people were literally ready to, like, sacrifice their left arm to be a volunteer on this shit. Like, you don't understand. People were going wild.
Bad,
it was crazy. I was just loving it, dude. And so finally, they call this kid, and he's like, and he gets up there, and he's hype as shit, and he goes, this shit's lit! He says up there, and everyone starts yelling, and fucking... He's going wild, and then what did they say? Something, they were like, his No Nut November reference, or whatever. What did
so the woman was saying, now in the scene, so what you would do is, at one point they end up getting to a hard mode, which was basically, they don't show you the
I'll be right
scene.
back. I gotta take a piss.
Okay.
I'll fucking go ahead and describe it. I'm gonna fucking
So
explode.
what it is in the hard mode, they don't give you the first, like, the actual scene as context. So they just start with the fan dub version, which is the scene without any sound. So you, as the audience members, have to just come up with shit on the spot. You get no context, you get no reference. But what it is they describe the scene to you in length, basically. They go through the whole thing. And so in this scene in particular, it was a woman who was basically coming on to this dude, and like she's touching him and groping him and stuff, and they're all on the floor, and basically right before this dude is like literally they're about to kiss, and right before like stuff is about to happen, she just gets up and leaves, and he's blue balled. So she was just like, she was telling them both this, and she's like, who wants to be the dude that gets blue balled? Oh my god, excuse me. And who wants to be the chick that like does all the teasing? Yeah. And I think it was a man and a woman, right? It was that guy, and it was a girl. Was the other volunteer?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so right as she says this, the guy goes, "Fuck it, I'll be the dude," and then turns around to the audience and goes, "No, not November!"
And then everybody started screaming, like, it got hyped again. And dude, this guy, he was fucking hilarious, because as soon as he got up there, of course, he did the New York call, too. So we were just like, oh my god, you finally done, you escaped it on the line. But he did that again, and oh my god.
Oh
dude,
man,
just
it was fucking
the other guy who literally brought a hentai book up to the lady, so this was when they were, like, trying to pick other people. He brought a book, gave it to her, and was like, "This is yours, let me go next." And then she was like, I don't know who to pick. I guess I'd accept bribes at this point.
Yeah, literally got bribed.
They did the whole thing, and she's like, wow, like, to think I'd get some literature to read this, and that. And as she's saying that, he goes up there, he gets his prize, which was a DVD, and he fucking snatches the book back like a fucking G. Like, he did not give a shit. Oh and literally, she was like, wait, you weren't giving this to me? And he was like, not fuck you, I'm reading this, you know? And she's like, wait, what the fuck? She's like, what do you mean? And he walked back clutching that thing, and I was like, oh my god, what a fucking legend. It was
honestly fucking great. I by no means want to undercut anything else that we saw at Anime NYC, but I would be remiss and quite frankly wrong if I didn't say that this like panel was one of the highlights of my whole weekend. Yeah. It was absolutely amazing. The energy in there was fucking infectious to a fucking ludicrous degree. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'm fucking degenerate. So it was like, just to be in a room with so many other crazy fucking horny niggas, it was hilarious. It was fucking dope. Yeah, it was really, really cool. I absolutely loved it.
I agree. I'm back. But yeah, that was fucking hilarious. And the No Nut November thing you guys were saying had me fucking rolling. Just the whole atmosphere was fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then it got even the night got even better, right? Because we went, I mean, that was definitely probably the highlight of the convention, I would say. Yeah. That shit was hilarious. And I don't know if that could be topped. But afterwards, we went to an after party and that we went to, which was a lot of fun. Gavin's already making a face because this is, again, like I said, we have different personalities, obviously all three of us, and it's cool to see some of us like vibe on different shit, like Gavin and I with art and, you know, etc., right? And then we all have our different ideas. So this was another experience with that. So it was really cool. So we went to an after party, right? And we didn't really know what to expect because this was not one hosted by Anime NYC, which they usually will. So if you go to a convention, you want to be an early bird to that, you might be able to get the one. It's probably going to be a big production value and all that kind of jazz, right? We went to kind of some just like random offshoot one that we found on like Facebook, right? With a legitimate website. And so we go to this place and we go up an elevator, and basically this is like the size of our room. Yeah, like our apartment. Bigger, yeah, like maybe like 2 apartment rooms put on top of each other, not even.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, like this is weird. So we walk in and it's like pretty, like they got music playing and like strobe lights and shit, and there's like Smash in the back. And, like, it's pretty dull. I'm not going to lie.
Super Smash Bros.
Super Smash.
The video game.
Why? What'd I say?
You just said Smash, but I want to reiterate people weren't, like, having sex in the back.
No, then the party would have been lit. But, oh my God. So we walk in.
Because I know some nigga will be like, they were smashing in the back.
And you said it was not, and you said it was lame?
Yeah.
So at first we walk in, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, and I look back and Isaiah and
had
Gavin.
all the appearances of like a not so great evening.
Yeah, and so we get in there, and then we're standing there for a second. No one's really doing anything. No one's dancing. And then I'm like, fuck this, because like, usually for anyone who comes out with me, they know that I love to fucking dance. Like, I love it, and I'll look like an idiot. Like, there's been multiple times where I've just started dancing, like the only guy out there looking like a dumbass, and then within 5 minutes everyone's doing it. So this was really no different. And this time I had Isaiah to help me as well, which was awesome because he's really into it as well. So Gavin and Isaiah and I are there, and like a song comes on and I just start dancing, right? Like to myself, like only guy on the dance floor there. And Gavin's looking at me like silly, like, dude, you're a knucklehead. And I go, Gavin, I go, watch. I go, for the first 5 minutes, Everyone's going to look at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I go, guarantee you, give it 5 minutes, everyone on this floor is going to be dancing. It happens all the time. Life hack 6, okay? If you want to get a party bumping, like, you got to just not be afraid to be an idiot. Because everyone's there to be stupid.
Because the fact of the matter is, and I agree with this and fully endorse this method, as we'll get into, like, it's just that, right? Like, everybody's afraid to be that idiot. So if you be the idiot, there's now zero excuse for anybody else to not get out and start dancing.
For sure.
And then everything's gone.
Yeah.
Everybody can
so
just be
I started
crazy.
dancing. I said that to Gavin, and Isaiah joined me. And sure enough, what the fuck did I say? Within 5 minutes, everyone who was not moving at first, the whole fucking place was dancing. Like, about 75% of the people.
And I don't want this to seem like we're bragging, but it was literally went from, like, no, everybody was like segregated in corners to not moving to everybody's fucking mixing. Everyone was vibing. Fucking, it was great.
Everyone was fucking vibing. It was awesome. Gavin was cracking up. He's looking at us because Gavin wasn't breaking out yet. Gavin wasn't much more of a dancer.
I'm like, first off, A, if I'm dancing like this, I've got to be like under the influence of any sort. A, B, you guys are dancing with a bunch of sweaty weebs. I mean, granted, no, we're all weebs, but like.
So
there were some people I'm looking. I'm like, I can hold off. I'll watch my smash in the back.
Every time I looked at Gavin, made eye contact, he just looked at me and shook his head, and he was like, he just grinned at me every time. But like, this is like where I was saying before, Gavin and I with art. This is where Isaiah and I really understood, like, because we have never like been out like, you know, quote. To a party together, right. Isaiah and I. And like, we always say to each other, we're like, oh, I love to dance, blah, blah, but it's like talk is talk and talk is cheap. And like, when we got there, we realized Isaiah and I were going fucking ham, and we were vibing so fucking hard with that, and it was awesome, and it was cool because Isaiah and I really connected on that level, you know what I mean, where it was like, no, you do go hard, and he was looking at me like, yeah, you do too, and everyone was fucking out there dancing. It was fucking wild. Like, everyone was, like, being, like, quiet at first. There was girls, guys, the whole nine. The DJ even got pretty fired up at that point because he was like, oh, thank God, now we got a party. You're welcome. And fucking, we were going
don't
off.
Brag, but we did quite literally start the party.
Yeah, for real.
I can't even, emphasize that enough. So much so to where, while other people there may have been a little out of breath and sweaty, and I'm sure I can speak for you, were fucking drenched.
Dude, it's so bad.
Literally drowning in sweat.
I wonder why you're drenched. Well, while I was being a normal person at the party, like just bob my head, going with it, watching some Smash, like a normal fucking human being, I turn around from the fucking screen, and all I see is Isaiah perched up on Ian's back.
On my shoulders.
On his shoulder.
So, we'll get to that in a minute. The preview to that is that we had to go hard. This party was, for all intents and purposes, sorry to be blunt, kind of lame when we got there. Literally, people are like standing in corners, like drinking, doing the awkward, like, small talk, and it was very clear to us, at least, that if niggas didn't start getting up and bouncing, nothing was going anywhere.
And we had to be that.
And we had to be that. And usually, what like the goal, at least I think at parties, and I'm sure you would agree, is like, you start moving and you go ham to get everybody else hype, because once everybody else is hype, it's like everybody else is at that level and you don't have to stay there all the time, and everybody can sort of like take turns and shift. Mm-hmm. These niggas were some of the most like just stiff, hard niggas to like move around.
Yeah, there were some
dancing.
people that vibe pretty hard, but like
even they were like, it was like in spurts and moments, to the point where like Ian and I literally had to carry the party, and we're dancing to every song, fucking going ham, and it was to the point hard. Where we like literally thinking about it makes me exhausted, dude. Because, like there were moments where we'd be dancing and like my throat is shot, dude. Same. I'm like, because we're fucking screaming the lyrics to all these Weeb songs,
to the fucking Pokemon theme song,
and like we're both fucking just drowning in our own fucking sweat, dude. And oh my God,
dude, I had the coat on at first.
There was one point, where we were like, all right, we gotta bust out like the ultimate move, and Ian turns to me and goes, "Get on," and like gets down on the ground, like motioning for me to get on his back. And I'm like, oh, all right, dope. I'll hop on his back for a few minutes and, like, you know what I mean? He'll, like, spin around or whatever.
And Isaiah thought back, I meant shoulders. So he got on my back, and I fucking yeeted him like, up onto my shoulder.
Fuck that, and threw me onto his fucking neck. And I was like, oh shit. All right, this is real.
And that was the funniest part, because looking out, Isaiah never made it to where, like, he was fully on your shoulders.
Because I hucked him up there.
It was more like, literally, like, where your like, knees are, where that joint is, that was on your shoulders.
Yeah, so my, like, ass was, like, on your back. because like it took me like 3 whole minutes to register that you were trying to get me on your shoulder. So the whole time I'm like, oh no, I should be on his back, and you just shot too far. Like I need to like go down. But like, dude.
So all you see is him hanging down, and Isaiah's holding on to Ian's neck for dear life, trying to pull himself up.
Fucking hilarious.
But, like, at the same
but
time,
I had it, and like
at the same time, he's still trying to bump.
I was falling,
and I was thinking, I was like, nah, I got him.
Have
Knees.
you ever gone to like a bar, or like you see the bar and they have a fucking like bowl in front,
Yeah,
and you
that's
hop on and
literally-
you try to ride it until it flings you off? That is like what I was watching.
Because
Isaiah was holding on,
so
he's trying to like dance.
While Ian threw me up, he starts spinning and he starts fucking dancing.
Yeah, because I wasn't just standing still.
Yeah,
like I was dancing, I was hucking, I was like lifting my legs up one at a time.
Yeah, he was,
like you know what I
kicking
mean?
his legs and
like
shit.
I squat.
And, like, he was
all right,
dancing.
let's just fucking yeah.
And what was funny was I was on you and I realized I was gonna fall, so I like wrapped my arm around your neck to get like leverage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, part of me was in my head and I'm like, I gotta hype these niggas up still. So while I have one arm around your neck, I'm going, yeah, and I'm fucking hyping these
the
niggas up,
lasso,
and I'm
bro.
swinging shit around, and I'm like singing to the song and like looking at people and like pointing and like trying to get niggas hyped.
Dude,
and
I'm doing the fucking jig on the bottom, like I'm kicking a leg, and people are looking at me like, dude, are you sure? And I'm like, nah, like I know
there was,
what
like
I'm about.
half the people who were like scared for both of our safeties, and the other half were just fucking recording everything.
Dude, fucking hilarious. And just to preface that, dude, I know Isaiah said we were shot. We were fucking shot before that, because Isaiah and I, like he said, we're literally the life of that party, and we're going fucking ham, dude. Like, I was jumping so much. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. So was Isaiah. I was drenched in sweat. Every song that came on, I'm like, dude, I'm dead. Yeah. And then another song would come on, and you just get this second win, and you'd be like, but I gotta go.
It was like the responsibility of the party was on our shoulders.
Dude,
like,
and
it was
that
literally
happened.
Like, if the song ended, if this song started and we didn't go ham, the party would have ended. And
that happened
like,
for like 7 songs straight, where you were like dead, and you're like, I gotta keep going. It was like some anime shit where it's like, gotta go beyond. Like, you know what I mean?
When Goku gets his ass back, but he's gotta get another Zenkai boost. And
fucking
he just has to go.
dead ass. So like, by the time I hucked Isaiah up on my shoulders, was like by the 8th song that we were already dead. So I was shot before that, sweaty as fuck. We did that, and Isaiah's thinking I'm gonna let him down. I was going for like a full fucking song.
Yeah,
dude.
again, I'm like, oh, he's gonna drop me, and that's cool, and I'll like jump off. He like basically throws me up in the air to get me off his shoulders, and I was like, and I fucking spin off.
At this point, Gavin was dancing. I'm pretty sure. Or you almost were, right? Was it after this?
I almost was. I was.
After this, you were dancing.
I was watching that, and I was like, what the fuck? And all I see is some people in the crowd. They're looking at each other, and they're like, the fuck is going on? They're like pulling out their phones, and I'm like, oh my god.
And I want to preference this by saying,
in my mind, I'm like, I don't know where there's a hospital in this city, and I can guarantee you one of them's like the.
And I want to preference this by saying that Ian is not a drinker. He doesn't drink, but I do. I didn't have one sip of alcohol.
It was 18 and older. There was no alcohol allowed.
Yeah, and this is like some drunk Isaiah shit. This is some shit I would have done if I was fucking.
I bring it out of people.
And I was sober as a fucking judge, and I was ready to do all of this shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, people are like, you don't drink? And then I'm like, nah, no. And then the party kicks, and they see me, and they're like, you sure you don't drink? And I'm like, nah, I'm just fucking crazy. Like, we were going hard. I fucking loved it. And dude, when Isaiah got off and that song was over, I literally collapsed on Gavin. I thought I was going to have a heart attack, dude. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I was sweating my ass off.
There was one point where, like, you, like, went to Gavin, and I grabbed you and Gavin and, like, hugged you guys. And I heard a heartbeat, and I didn't know whose it was.
It was mine.
I was like, is that my heart?
Fucking
is that yours?
Shot. It doesn't help that we've been sick this entire weekend and been walking like crazy. The weekend's been crazy. And dude, after that, like, we danced even more after that. But at that point, I was like,
it was
like
zombie dancing. We were literally like dancing. It was like,
we were holding
each other.
If you remember
the scene where Rock Lee is fighting Gaara, and he's beaten so bad that literally his sheer willpower is the only thing that makes him stand up. That's exactly what it was.
Exactly. People with, like, at this point, I love it when people all hold, like, they link arms and, like, we're holding each other's shoulders, and people we didn't even know. At this point, you were dancing, Gavin, because Gavin was like, okay, now I can dance.
Everybody was fucking...
Yeah, everyone was dancing at this point. Even Gavin was. Our boy Vince was there, drunk, fucking screaming, bellowing to the rooftops. Hilarious, dude. Fucking, a fucking gem to be around. And we're all holding each other's shoulders and, like, fucking bouncing back and forth, dude. We were like screaming the Pokemon theme song, because the DJ at one point was like hilarious, because he's like, all right guys, I need you all to sing along to this song. He plays some song that I guess was popular in Japan, not so much here, because the guy was from Japan, straight up. And he's like, this is the song. No one knew it, because he turned the volume down, no one fucking sung it. I'm like, this is the most awkward shit ever. And he's like, for real? And he's like, all right, I guess in Japan this is popular, not here. He's like, I'm gonna play another one. And he goes, if you guys don't sing along to this one,
I'm going home.
I'm going home. And I look at Isaiah and I'm like, fuck, I really hope I
Yeah,
go.
and again, with this, like, party pressure thing we had on us, we're like, shit, dog, the pressure's on.
So he plays it, and at first we're like, and then it was Pokemon, and everyone was fucking going and bellowing to the rooftops like, I want to be!
Yeah, all I remember after this...
It was funny.
The bad part is I didn't know that song.
Of course he did, because Gavin's fucking Amish.
I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta know this, right? And it starts going, and I didn't realize until, like, the third iteration of, like, everybody screaming it, I was like, oh, because I've never watched anything Pokemon.
Until we went, Pokemon!
Yeah. Oh, is this Pokemon?
Yeah, well, and then it rung some bells. Because, like, you see the commercials every once in a while, but it's not something that
all I remember after this was there was a moment where everybody was screaming, and everybody's, like, heads are up, like, in the air, and I just remember, like, there was, like, just, at first I was like, I thought it was water, but there was just sweat all dripping down my fucking face, and I'm yelling to the point where, like, my voice is cut off, and I'm just, like, screaming empty air into the...
Semi-lost my voice.
I was dead.
We went fucking ham. Isaiah and I were like, we need to get water or we're literally going to faint. And I was like, Gavin... Meanwhile, Vince is holding it up in our stead because Vince is like, just going crazy.
Yeah,
he has like White Claws or some shit. Dude,
nuts.
He was going fucking ham, and Gavin's there dancing. And I'm like, Gavin, we're gonna fucking go get water because we're literally like going to drop at this point. So Isaiah and I like stumble out of the place like we were drunk. The guy's like, you guys all right? Or I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you have water? And he's like, nah, bro. And he's like, don't worry, I'll let you back in. So we like stumbled into the elevator, went downstairs, found a 7-Eleven like across the street, went in there. We looked fucking drunk. We looked like drug addicts, dude.
Did.
Like, we went in there, and the homeless guy opened the door for us, and we looked worse than he did. Okay, shout out to that guy for holding the door, homie. But fucking, we got like a gallon jug and an apple. I was fucking chugging the gallon before we even wrung out, dude. I housed that apple in like 6 bites.
Yeah,
it was fucking crazy. We went back up
rough.
there, hung out for like another couple of minutes, and we were just sitting there.
But it was like us trying to get life back into our bodies.
Yeah,
and I
dude.
was like, dude,
it just
I'm
wasn't
done.
happening. Vince is still bellowing to the fucking rooftops, and Vince is like, I told everyone that you lived, he said. And I'm like, what? Dude, and then eventually, Isaiah and I look at each other, I'm like, y'all ready to bounce? And he's like, yeah. And I go, Gavin, you good? And he's like, do you guys want to? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we're good. So I go over to say bye to Vince. He's gabbing it up with some girl over there. He's a savant, okay? And he's like, I love you, bro. He's like, you're a good man. And then he screams to everyone. He's like, this guy lifts. He's like, he's got to work out tomorrow. He's saying, oh my God, it was fucking hysterical. I'm like, peace out. We went home. Came home, fucking showered, obviously, because fucking sweaty as fuck, dead, crashed.
Man. Just dead.
End of day 2, right?
Yeah,
that was fucking, day 2 was probably the highlight.
But it was
fucking great. And then in day 3 up until now, so let's fucking get into it.
Yeah. We got up, 11:30, 11 o'clock-ish?
I think even earlier this time. I got up around 10. You guys got up around like 10:30, 10:45. Yeah.
So
I woke up because there was fucking snot plugged up my nose. First of all, I had a dream that I fist fought somebody. I won, by the way. And
what is it? Life hack 5 we're on now?
I think we're on 7.
Don't go to a convention all 3 days if you're sick. I think that took like...
It made it so much worse.
Yeah, hindered our experience.
Oh, dude, I have been sick for like 2 weeks, and this just exacerbated it so much. Like, I'm back at square one. But it's
and I
totally
think being locked in a room with you for 3 nights has fucked me and Gavin up.
Oh my God, dude.
It's bad.
Yeah, I literally woke up. I had a dream that I fought someone, and then I fucking woke up because I literally went to go breathe, and it and like literally through my mouth. I was like, ah! And then I just ran to the fucking bathroom, dude. It was fucking terrible. I'm like, well, I'm up now. And then you guys woke up afterwards.
And then we woke up. And then, so this was like the last day of the convention. So everything was closing at like 5 so that they could like wrap up and get out of here before.
Got breakfast again at the same spot. Isaiah was salty about
trash.
breakfast. I thought it was great.
Don't recommend this place. It's terrible.
What was it called? Do you guys remember?
Built for 5 people and they service 50.
I thought it was really
I don't know how they
good.
do it.
It was bumping
and
over
quite
there.
frankly, they don't do it. They don't do it well.
It was like something in the coffee company, like bagel in the coffee company. I don't know. It's on fucking, where was it on? It's on 29th and 8th Ave.
Directions.
I got the group directions now. I think it's on 29th and 8th Ave, if I'm not mistaken, for anyone who's familiar, or like 28th and 8th. Anyway, go ahead.
So we get to the convention, and by this point, we had basically recorded all of the other stuff that there was to record at the convention.
Yeah, art gallery,
we pretty
Naruto.
much just wanted to hit like a couple events, a panel or two, and that was it. So the only panel that we had scheduled for today was My Hero Academia was doing a voice actor panel where they would bring on the main cast or several characters, several voice actors from the show, And it was kind of like the Naruto celebration thing, but just more of like, not so much a celebration, obviously, but just talking about the voice actors and their careers and the show. And this one, I think, while bearing some similarities to the Naruto celebration, i.e., like as far as how it was run and that stuff, I actually think went better. Like it was run better, or like, you know what I mean. And part of that is like, I think the fan participation was nice. I think a lot of the fan questions and things that people asked were like actually really cool and insightful. Like one person asked at the end, they were like, what as a voice actor, like for these characters, like what's the one line you would want to say if you had like no limits or no? And I think that was like a really cool, fun question.
That was cool. Yeah, they each did their own thing.
Which this person actually, by the way, had the dopest fucking cosplay in the entire thing. They were cosplaying as Dark Shadow, and it was a legit fucking full get up. And it was a woman, which I only reference in saying that because I'm almost positive that every human being that saw this thing assumed that it was a man.
Yeah. And we didn't know what was under the cowl,
because
so
it was a legit full mask and like a full like
man, light up eyes and everything. And it was funny because the panel, the one guy who did the voice acting for Dark Shadow,
was there.
He was there and the most hyped. So literally, when the person they gave her the mic, and she was like, okay, my question is, and you heard her voice, and even the panel started dying.
Everyone in the crowd erupted in laughter, dude.
Like nobody,
not even like to make fun, but it was just we're coming off of actual Dark Shadow, right? Who's supposed to sound like really deep, and like, you know, this guy's up there, this like big burly dude who does the voice, and like nobody knew it was under the cowl again, so to speak, for the Dark Shadow cosplay.
The whole time that this person was walking around in line, they didn't talk.
No, not at all. So nobody knew what to expect, and then they got up, and everyone's waiting for this person to talk, and it's like, hi, if you had anyone and everyone started fucking dying, but it was like,
I'm like, that's such an anime thing.
I'm like, I hope she doesn't take offense to that, because we didn't mean it. It was just so funny, because it was like
a total
so
anime moment where it's like you expect one thing
awesome.
and
even the guy at the end, he's like, yo, you're taking
they had her come up and take pictures
cool.
with them, which must have been awesome for her, so good job. That was really cool, and that one was ran well, and that's where I held the camera. So again, you know, fucking get your shoulders ready if you're holding the camera, because holy shit, there was a huge point where like I just rested my elbow on Gavin's shoulder and held mine up as like a prop, because it was like, it was fucking rough.
But literally, like the people, I would have had to stand up.
Yeah, Gavin's angles were weird, so I had to like take the reins on that one. But it was we recorded the panel. All the people who do the voices to the My Hero characters seem very down to earth.
Yeah,
very cool people. And they were funny. They had a lot of good stories, and like they answered the questions well. They weren't really surface level. It was like in depth answers. Yeah. I liked them a lot, and I thought that was really cool to see them and respect them that much more, because I've said it before. I really do like the dub version of My Hero specifically. Right. You know, like we've been watching it sub because it's quicker in the moment, and Gavin and Isaiah watch it sub. But I really do enjoy the dub, and those people put in good work, and to see them. And, you know, to hear them and their stories, and, you know, to see how down to earth they were, and really cool people, genuine people, it made me respect their craft even more so on that show.
Honest, you know? I prefer the sub version. I don't like watching the dub, but I have said this and I'll say it again. It has nothing to do with the voice actors. No. This is for any show. I will even say, because I recently started watching the dub for Demon Slayer, and while initially I watched a trailer and I was like, no, that's weird. I don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
After watching it for like, I think I'm on episode 4 now. I vibe with it. It never has been because of the. I mean, I would say in the past, right? Like if you had asked me a decade ago, I'm like, it just sounds cringy. Yeah. But I think dub performance-wise, voice actors has significantly stepped up in the past decade. To me, it's always just been a weird thing of it feels like a copy of the original form of work, which it is, and I get that, like it's, you know, to the convenience and to like a different extent, its own thing. But I think I've always just preferred, I guess, the original, you know, like what came out first, what it's like supposed to be.
No, it makes sense.
But like I said, again, I appreciate all the voice actors, and of the dubs that I've seen, of the shows I have watched, they're amazing.
Yeah, those folks are really cool. And then again, with the questions that the host, I guess, asked were good, and the audience actually asked much better questions than at the Naruto one. Yeah. This time they were a little more deep, and, you know, even if they were not very deep, like if it had, like you said, that one with the line where it's like, what line would you say? I thought that one was interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas
really
like
fun questions.
Yeah,
that, like,
it was better in compared to, but again, people made the same mistake of lining to the fucking door when they're like, we have 15 minutes to do this, and it was like 100 people, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever, here's to hoping. But we had to chuckle about that. But yeah, really cool, and we got that whole thing on recording. Again, if we bring that out, don't mind me, because there's times where I'm probably just fucking totally veer off the actual cast, because I was like trying to resituate myself. But that was really cool. And I enjoyed going to that, and then afterwards with that, not to mention before that, we spent a fuckload of money.
Yeah, so day 1 and day 2, if that was us recording stuff and getting to learn the layout of the convention and what was where. Day 3 was us walking in with fucking open wallets and going, bam, give me this.
Yeah, we knew exactly.
Bam, give me that.
Before that convention, or before that panel started, because we came a little bit earlier. It started at 2:30. We got there at about like 1. We knew exactly where we wanted to go, and it's like, I kind of fucked with that art. We were beeline, because we literally knew the whole convention, so we were beelining it to the exact place. And we're like, I want that. I want that.
We walked into the convention center, and 2 minutes in, I bought this poster that I've been eyeing the whole day. It's the fastest purchase I've ever made. I walked right in, and this like tiny old Chinese lady was like, "What do you want?" I was like, I want this poster on the wall. She's like, oh, it's 50. I was like, I don't care. Give it to me. That was it.
Literally, he did that. Like, he's not lying. He went in, he goes, he's like, that poster, I want it. She's like, it's 50. Don't care. I want it. She's like, okay. Like, the fastest shit ever. And we were like flying around all these different fucking panels and spending fucking stupid amounts of money. I bought like 6 shirts from this one booth, dude. They are the tits. I'm gonna post them. I gotta post them like on my Instagram or something like that.
Well, I think we're gonna do a video where we do like of our haul.
Okay, yeah. You guys got to see it. I can't remember. I can't even remember the fucking the booth.
Name of the booth?
Yeah, the name of the booth.
I
But
don't either.
man,
Well,
I fuck with these shirts hard.
dope.
They were awesome, dude. This guy got like all by business.
Between Ian and Gavin,
We bought 8
8 shirts were
shirts.
purchased.
Yeah.
You bought 2?
He bought
I
6.
bought 6.
Yeah,
Dude, and there was another time Gavin was like, oh, I wanted that one. I'm like, Gavin, you could get the same fucking one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they didn't even have my fucking size.
We got different ones.
Like literally, I was like, oh, I'll get the large.
I was so upset they didn't have the Kung Fu Cat one in the fucking in large. They only had small. I was so upset. But yeah, we went around,
really
got some cool shit.
A lot of dope shit.
Yeah, there's some really dope art. I really like the one Isaiah got. If you post a picture of it, of like the story of Naruto.
I just really liked it because I didn't think that I would be able to find it. Like, it was like a
that one we just stumbled upon.
Or whatever that I saw on Instagram like months ago, and I was like, oh, that's really dope, but like whatever.
Really
and then
cool.
I fucking ran into it randomly here.
Yeah,
it was dope. And then the last thing we did, we went to Elizabeth Rage's booth, the Sonic Boombox booth.
Yeah, we went to the video games for a second to see.
Oh yeah.
And then we walked by a couple of the cosplay girls. There was Azulet there. For those that are not familiar, for anyone that I had talked to before this, and we're like, yeah, we're going to be able to interview all these people and stuff because we got the press passes. Life throws you curveballs, and it's a long story, but essentially we tried our darndest, but like a lot of these people that you're requesting aren't even available to do it because they got their own shit going on, and like again, a lot of these panels make up for it. So it's like if you want to ask a question, etc.
Sure.
It's really just the press passes. Plus,
we missed a lot on like timing. So a lot of these interviews, of course, because we have the shittiest luck, happened to be Friday morning or early Friday afternoon, and because our hotel and i.e. our train didn't get into the city until 3:00. We just out of sheer bad timing, like missed, a portion of the interviews that were available anyway.
Yeah. So it is what it is, but we had a blast anyway, and like, I guess now we're a little wiser on it. Like if we're scheduling an interview, it's like we probably know that it like won't happen, or if it is, it's going to be like maybe not so. Because like I literally if he ever listens, Clifford Cliff Chapin does the voice of Katsuki Bakugo and My Hero, one of the guys up on the panel. I had requested to interview that guy among and Azulet actually as well as 2 people to interview. We were under the assumption that it was going to be like a one-on-one style. I literally stalked this dude's life from like 10 years ago, dude. Like creeper shit. Like went through all of social media, every website that had to pertain with this guy, like Wikipedia, the whole fucking life story, like from when he was a child. Like I wrote down everything.
And it was, me thinking back on it now with retrospect, it's like, why would they just let random people like get a whole fucking half hour at a time?
I know. We thought Isaiah and I talked on the phone, and we were like,
it was like,
because it was coming down to it, and we're like, I don't think it's gonna be a one-on-one style. And then we talked to each other, and we're like, dude, if we actually thought about this, do you think that they're gonna let some random dude from the Apostles of Anime AoA podcast that no one's heard of yet? Okay, preface that. But, like, no one's trying to just, like, take 30 minutes of this man's time, like, when he's got
like,
shit to do.
Yeah, no,
it's like, you know, you, like, overestimate how important you are, I guess.
Yeah.
And we had to laugh about it at the end because we're like, no,
definitely.
what the fuck were we thinking? And, you know, but it was just like, we're noobs to this. And, like, again, this whole
also, the
thing
wording
is
was weird. Like, the people that I spoke with when in email setting it up, where at first they were like, oh, you can request an interview with said person.
Yeah.
So, because I had requested Male Flanagan, who's Naruto's voice actor, and one of the other cosplayers who wasn't there, but her name was Suzu Momoya or something.
Okay,
like that.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but and again, like in the wording, she was like, "Oh, you can request to interview said person, like any guest you want." And so that to me, I was like, "Oh, we can just like privately interview guests, like if they have time." But then once we got the confirmation, she was like, "Yes, be ready for the group style interview," and I was like, "Whoa, you didn't mention what's
basically
group style interview."
Yeah.
So
which is basically like a mini panel where it's like you kind of have to like
basically.
like where it's like you see that the White House press conferences and they're all like hounding them with questions and it's like this person, you know, like that's what it is. And it was like we didn't really think that we missed it, but we didn't really think that would make for like it was imperative we got that content out because again
like
with the panels,
one of our questions amongst a plethora of other people's, and it's like not really even our content.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like we could for future reference, but it was a learning experience. And one thing that did reassure me though was that I was talking about that the second day before we went to the Naruto panel to someone. I was explaining our gripes, and some guy must have overheard me who's been like an anime fan for like 30 years, and he goes, "Hey," as we were walking away, and he goes, "I appreciate you letting me listen in on your war stories." He says, like he referred to it as that. I'm like, what is he talking about? And then he's like, listen, man, like, I've been at this for, like, you learn this stuff, and he's like, I've been at this for, like, 30 years, and he's like, all I gotta say is, like, never give this shit up, because, you know what I mean? He's like, never go away from it, because, like, it'll always be there for you, and, like, you'll always have these good times, and he's like, keep plugging at it, because, like, he basically was very reassuring with it, and it was very random, and it, like, kind of, after we were done talking about it, I was like, what the fuck was that guy talking about? But now, so in the moment, I was like, what? But, like, when we
because it was so random, like, we were sitting at a table, and he was literally, like, there, and he, like, was sitting at the same table, but like away from us, and like obviously wasn't part of our group.
Yeah, it was
and we
funny.
didn't even think he was listening.
Dude,
to us
it was
at all.
funny. So at first I was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" But now looking back on it, like I understood that he meant that like in a very positive light, and he was being very encouraging, and I'm glad that he said that.
Definitely, and that's something that I want to say amongst all three of these days is, as I've said before, I'm very much an introvert, and I don't large periods of time like around like large crowds and stuff, and I'm usually not a fan of. Right, I at the very least I appreciate like my alone time, and I appreciate time that's like just silence and solitude. But even amongst like the gripes of just being in like this large room with all these people, like I loved being at this place for all 3 days. It was something about like just being around all these people that love the kind of shit you love, like to the degree that you love it, that they're willing to either dress up as, you know, X character, or they're, you know, they want to buy like and like get the same kind of stuff you do. Like so one random interaction that happened while we were there. I think it was day one actually. We were at one point we were sitting and Gavin was like, he was swapping out batteries for the camera. And you guys don't watch Dr. Stone, but in Dr. Stone, in one of the more recent episodes, one of the characters, I can't remember his name, but he's referred to as the magician, is kind of like this like sneaky, sly, you know, morally ambiguous character. And the whole reason that he decides to end up teaming up with Senku for his like Kingdom of Science is he's like, all right, I'll team up with you, but on the condition of in the old world, you know, in the world that existed before this one, he's like, I was a real big fan of soda. He's like, with all your science or whatever, he's like, if you can make me some soda, I'm in. And like that's his whole character, right? It's like he's supposed to be that fly by night that like anything could convince him about anything. And so at the end of the most recent arc, after they win this like tournament or whatever, the magician's like, he ends up helping them, you know, just like out of like whatever, out of a flimsy alliance, but also because he like sort of ends up liking like the gang.
Sure.
And so he ends up leaving them after they win so they can celebrate their win, and he goes back to like their hideout or their tent to find a bottle of soda that Senku had already made for him basically before they even started. And we're sitting there at this convention, and I saw this person who was cosplayed as that magician person. And they walk up to this random person who was cosplaying an Attack on Titan cosplay. Two completely different shows, right? And the magician lady who was cosplaying walks up to this girl and gives her a bottle of soda. Doesn't say anything, just gives her a bottle of soda. And the girl immediately freaks the fuck out. She almost had a moment where she grabs a soda and thought that the girl was just giving her a soda. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then like froze and looked at this and was like, oh my god, and she starts screaming, and she's running around all her friends and showing her. She's like, the magician, and it was like that moment of like, everybody here has watched this, and everybody here knows these moments, and like everybody can connect off of like that mutual understanding, and like that's the coolest fucking shit to me, dude.
No, yeah,
that's the coolest fucking thing.
It was really,
I loved all these fucking people.
It's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, and just to wrap up, because I wanted to say, because I wanted to give credit where credit was due. I was saying we saw Azulet and stuff, and then we went by Elizabeth Rage on Instagram, for anyone who doesn't know. We went and saw her booth, because I had actually, not knowing who she was, I had taken a picture with her at Comic-Con about a month ago. I was cosplaying as Clark Kent, and she was Faye from Cowboy Bebop, and those who know me know that I like Cowboy Bebop, and I love me some Faye. So I was like, oh, I gotta take a picture with her, and I didn't know who the hell she was, and, you know, I now learn, you know, obviously, like, through these guys and her and stuff, that it's like, she's big, you know what I mean? Like, she's a thing, and, so we went and had actually like a really cool conversation. Isaiah and I, Gavin was checking something else out. He came a little after, but she was very down to earth, and we had a very cool conversation with her about cosplaying in general, like how she got into it, and, you know, like suggestions she would make for somebody that would want to get into it. And then, like, I was saying that was something that I was interested in, so she like wrote down a list of JoJo characters for me to cosplay as, because I guess I look like a lot of guys from JoJo, but she like wrote that down with her friend who was that PD Larky as well, who was really cool, also an awesome person. And, you know, we just had like a really cool like 15-minute conversation with them, and they were very down to earth,
and it was really enlightening too, because I'm gonna be honest, I did like a in my opinion half-assed like pseudo cosplay on the second day that we did this as Naruto, but like I definitely see myself like just going balls to the wall with this and like really doing it, because I think it's a lot of fun, and I think especially if it's something that like you put your time and energy into and stuff, like it's just fucking cool.
It was cool, and it was cool to hear from them again, because it was like they were very, and they were honest too, because I had asked them questions. I was very I was in the New York state of mind, as you like to say, so I was being very blunt, but like I wasn't trying to be like mean, but I was like, listen, like, you know, I asked them questions like, how much do you think that like sexual appeal has, like, you know what I mean, an influence in this, and like, is it a necessity? Like questions like that, where like some people might be uncomfortable answering, but like they were very, you know, Elizabeth was doing more of the talking, but like Elizabeth was very honest from what I gathered about a lot of it. She's like, listen, like if you're doing this as a male, like it's harder, and if you are doing it as a male, you have to be cool with like appealing to both sexes, you know what I mean, like if you're doing that, because and like, you know, and she's like, yeah, sex appeal definitely is a professional thing, like kind of is a thing, unless you're gonna like kill it in whatever else you're doing, which again she also does, because she showed us some, or like her portfolio, and she did like a For Honor one, which was fucking baller. Like it was sick. I don't know if you saw that, Gavin, but it was fucking really cool looking. She
like
murdered
decked
that.
Out fucking armor,
really sick,
and the swords were made by like the people from Man at Arms.
She like collabed with them. Yeah, it was really sick. Dope. And then the other one with the woman in the dress, Saber. Really cool shit, but like very honest, which I appreciated, and very down to earth, both of them. And, you know, I was very thankful that a lot, not only them, but a lot of the people that we got to meet with and see at the panels, their more personal interaction, etc., were very down to earth, positive people from what I could tell.
It's interesting, like, to me, like, with you know, whether we're talking about, like, cosplayers that are on the level of Elizabeth Rage, or voice actors, you know, i.e. My Hero, or Naruto, that it's like, you know, and you do this as a fan, right? Because you appreciate, you know, their work so much that like you follow it so heavily, and you invest so much of your life and your time into their stuff, that like you start to build up, right? Like this sort of like larger than life persona version of them. And I think it's so easy to forget that like they're just people, man. You know what I mean? Like I have been following Elizabeth Rage for a long time, and like that conversation was really cool for me, because much like if I was talking to like Mel Flanagan or any of the other voice actors or any of the other, you know, professionals that were there, it's like you're just talking, you know, just a person, you're just talking to people, and like it's just really cool to like, you know what I mean, get that and have that level of engagement,
which is life hack number 8 that brings me to as well. If you see someone, you know what I mean, like at these booths or whatever that you want to follow and stuff like that, start a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like
it doesn't have to be like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like most personal, deep question. Like, just talk to him.
You just like
Say
talk
hi.
about it. I went up and I was like, "Hey, I recognize you. I took a picture with you as Faye at Comic-Con last month." And boom, it was like a 15-minute convo with Isaiah, Elizabeth, myself, Pete, the whole night, and it was a good conversation. Like,
it was.
you know, and they're people at the end of the day. They like being talked to. Like everyone needs again like their personal space and stuff like that. But it's like they're there at a booth. You know what I mean? Like they know that's
the
what they're
goal
doing.
is to draw people.
So they probably appreciate when people have like a genuine conversation with them where it's not just so much like fawning over their tits or like, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure they're flattered by. Don't get me wrong. I would be too. But like, you get my point, right? You know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. It was a good, meaningful conversation, not just with them and, you know, like I said, with the other people. And again, Lifehack 8, just fucking talk. Just fucking say something.
And to be honest, I would even, you know, press that to just regular, like, people, other fans, you know what I mean? Like, these kinds of things, great places to make friends. Great places to meet people.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't feel
you
scared.
already know that these people have a like-mindedness like you because you're all here for the same reason. So it's like, just talk to people.
Ask people to take pictures
Yeah.
of their cosplays. They put in work. Don't think that they're going to be pissed off that you just take a picture.
And even if somebody looks tired, like, granted, they might be, like, lugging around a heavy thing or whatever, but it's like,
yeah,
no, that's
you
why
just
they're
ask
here.
them, like, honestly, too, do you mind is it cool if I take a picture?
Yeah.
You know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, ask those things because you go to these and then these don't happen all the time. It's like once, twice a year. Sometimes you got to travel.
Exactly.
Like, you don't always get this opportunity. So definitely make the most of it if you're really a fanatic.
Lifehack 8 is take advantage of every second. If
Yeah,
you go to
for
these
real,
things,
man.
Whether it's all 3 days, whether it's 1 day, whether it's fucking like a few hours, take advantage of every second.
And I really feel like
you never know.
Yeah, I feel like New York has like I know it sounds cheesy, but like I'm dead serious. Like being in this city for the 3 days that I have, and like I said, with like the assertiveness and like getting after what you need in the fast pace, like I really do feel like that reinforced it for me. Where I was like my confidence was like you know what I mean? It was
I will 100% agree.
Yeah,
even
it's like
with my
infectious.
views
It's
of
like
the
an
city,
attitude.
It's
you know?
like being from Jersey. I think it is easy, or I'll say it this way: it's harder to get in that mindset, especially with people like us as content creators. It's harder to get in the mindset of like, all right, we've got to go here to get this done. We've got to go here to get that done. We've got to do this. We've got to do this because like content creation is the hardest kind of job because it's an entrepreneurial thing. You have to build it from the ground up. We don't have a backbone. We don't have any base. You know what I mean? Mm. So like New York is a great place. And I think like, you know, places like New York and LA, places that like foster an environment of like get up and go and like you've got to get at this thing and just hit the pavement running.
Yeah.
Are great places for this kind of stuff and great places for like a meeting of the minds kind of thing like this, but also just to like foster to like I feel like this trip, these 3 days was good for me because it really like I'm like, boy, I fucking can't wait to get back home and like start making shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thought it was awesome, and then to really end the day off, shout out Jamar. We met our boy Jamar, who hopefully, I don't want to promise anything, but we're thinking something's going to be in the works with him, and you'll know it. We'll say it when it is a thing. So you're like, what are you talking about? But if Jamar's listening, he knows what the fuck is up.
We have some fun things planned.
We had some cool things planned with him. He's a musician. I'll just say that. And you should check him out.
Yes.
His name's what is it now on YouTube? It's like it's fucking goddamn it. Hang on.
Yeah,
Somebody say
Logic Get.
Yeah, something like that. Hang on, I got you.
I don't know how to say it.
I know it's
G.
I can't pronounce it. It's like Gez or something.
Gez, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Ghez.
Yeah.
Something like that. Hang on, I got you guys. Sorry, I had to do.
Man, we're doing him disc justice right now. Jesus fuck.
No. I just want to make sure I knew how to spell it. It's like Ghez, so it's Ghez.
Yeah.
That's I just want to make sure that I had that correctly. But check him out. And know that we're trying to get some stuff in the works for a collab with him because we know him on a personal level. But we got to see him at the end, which is really awesome.
Like literally,
literally, we were walking out of the convention at like 4:30 because we were like, okay, I think we did everything we needed to do. I spent enough money. We met the people we wanted to meet. We've literally covered every square inch of this fucking thing. So we're like, all right, let's get out of here. Come back, record this. And we saw, and he yelled, and he goes, "Yo, Ian!" like that. And I go, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, so I turn around, it's him with his girlfriend, and I'm like, "Yo, that is so fucking awesome that it ended. That it's like this is how this is gonna end." He came up and we all fucking hugged it out, and he introduced us to his girlfriend, who was really sweet, and fucking we were talking about just like our time there. They were just there for the day, but we were just talking about all this stuff for a hot minute there, and then they were going to get something to eat. But it was really cool to connect with people there, and then
that like we knew prior to this. You know what I mean?
And then we came home, and now we're doing this, but. Now, so real quick, and then we'll wrap it up unless there's anything else that you guys want to say. Can you think of any things that you really liked about the con versus things that you thought could improve, like opportunities that they had to like do better, maybe for next year or something? Maybe someone out there is listening to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
honest critique or
just, like go you and around. Or...
Yeah. I would say some of the things I loved, obviously, and I don't want to sound too surface level, but again, the fact that you could go turn any corner and you see a person that has the same interests that you do, and again, I guess that could go for most conventions, but I thought, especially with this one, it was really tight-knit community, and it was like you could literally go up to anyone, and it was like you'd have some sort of common interest. Like there was a point where we talked with a guy waiting in the line outside of the Naruto panel, and we were talking about like Naruto theories with this guy, like randomly. Like this guy just said something out of the blue. We made a new friend. It was really cool. You have the opportunity to connect, and again, I guess that could go for any con. So I guess something specifically that I would say for this convention is that I like how they bridge. Okay, this is gonna sound maybe hypocritical. So when I was at Comic-Con, some of like the overly lewd shit bothered me at times because it was like that's not what that character is. Okay. And at AnimeCon, I feel like it's always been like that bridged gap where it's like, yeah, the character could be that at any point, and maybe that sounds weird. I don't know if you guys agree, but I felt like I actually liked the fact that it was like a lot of lewdness in there along with like the seriousness, and I liked how there was like very different styles and takes on, you know what I mean, on different things. Speaking of which, if one more fucking character gets gender bent, I don't know what I'm gonna do about myself, because we had a literal crisis where we're like, I don't even know what sexuality anymore, bro. Like I'm fucking shocked. All of a sudden, I found out that
got here Friday, right? And I was like, I can't wait to see some attractive cosplays and some hentai stuff. And most of what I liked, what I saw, was initially a design of a dude. Some chick would walk past me and I'd be like, that girl's kind of cute. She'd turn around and it's supposed to be Luffy. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude, you were thrown for... Gavin's giving us both the look right now. Dude, I was thrown for a fuck. I just learned this weekend, I guess I'm late to the train on this, that Bowser apparently can be turned into a female. Yes, and I'm like...
I at one point had to
and there was a lot of art of that. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Fiasco, and Ian was blown.
My mind was blown. Yeah, I literally looked and I'm like, yo, what Mario character is that? He's like, that's Bowser as a chick. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I'm like, I can't anymore. I don't know what the fuck is real anymore. I'm like, I'm fucked up in the head. I don't like it. I guess maybe that was a good thing and a bad thing all at the same time. I don't know. Take that as a compliment or a diss, whatever you want to fucking put it as. But it was a funny side note. I would say, no, honestly, though, another thing that I liked, and then I'll say some of the things that I think they could improve. Again, the people being very down to earth, and which kind of went into our, be yourself and don't be afraid to talk to them, because a lot of them were really cool people, and were really excited to talk about what they do. You know what I mean? And that was something that was cool, because when the people that do this are just as engaged as their audience, it makes for a better experience. So I thought that was cool. I think one thing, I think something that like where there's an opportunity, I think that they should definitely like really tailor in on a cosplay section. Personally, it was cool that they were all around the floor, but it would be nice for like, because they had that, quote unquote, in their map, and so they'd be like, well, they had that, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a little jumbled. Like, I feel like if they had like a concrete thing where it's like we could get, because I think cosplaying is my favorite thing about it, to watch them and stuff. Oh, definitely. So I think that would have been cool to really like solidify that a little bit more, and like there was a little bit of, you know what I mean, there was a little bit of like ambiguity and like randomness to some of the event, where it was like, oh, okay, like where are we going specifically for this? I think it was a little more like structured, and again, I think if it gets bigger, maybe that's something that they'll have to do. But that, I guess that would be one opportunity that I see there, but beyond that, I didn't really have any like outstanding gripes or anything like that. I thought it was probably, I don't know. What do you guys think?
For me, my favorite part was definitely the artist alley, and like more differently. It's not that I'm not about like anime tits or shit like that, or like that kind of art. I'm more in it to where in my opinion, I feel like a lot of those stands are kind of cookie cutter in terms of the way like the characters are. Like I feel like I'm looking at the same thing.
That's actually that's a fair critique.
No like individuality.
Yes.
And when I go to the other like more abstract art and things like that, like there'll be pictures, like they'll have some like naked or lewd ones and things like that. But you look at it from more of an artistic angle.
Right. That's usually not the point of the art of the...
That's where you
which I agree. But like I like the more if it was abstract version of that type of picture.
Gavin, I'm a nigga that likes lewd shit, but I in no way will try to deepen or solidify it as like some deep intent. I'm a degenerate. You know what I mean?
I feel
you don't like it for any of those other reasons. That makes sense.
Like
That's
it's
totally
fine. It's just I'm more drawn to the skill.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. Like once you've seen like 5 of them, you've seen them all. Yeah. No, I understand.
Like seeing them all. You know what I mean? But if you don't, like that makes sense. You have seen them all already. Why would you want to see more? That that makes sense.
No, you're absolutely right.
So I also liked a lot of the clothes that they had. Although barring the shirts that we got. We didn't buy a lot of stuff, especially apparel-wise, because it was fucking expensive.
Yeah,
like, me and Isaiah
that's another
jackets.
gripe, actually, I would say. Is that, and I guess
which
that goes
won't
to
be
that
going away anytime soon.
Life hack 9.
Especially if they get bigger.
Don't wait till the con to buy shit that you could have bought without being at the con.
And if you want to come to the con, don't come you're gonna need money.
Yeah,
whether it's like for food, whether it's for merchandise,
for sure.
All right, and I'll preface this. So my sorry ass, I literally bought a hat and like a Kotsky fucking hoodie, and I made sure I got it shipped the day before we went to the con. Dude, I regretted every moment of buying it. Like, I'm about to go home and probably just cry, like, wrap myself in it and cry. So, like, I could have literally bought this for the same price here and known, like, it would have been fine.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a double-edged sword because some of the stuff here, if you could get on Amazon, I'd actually probably recommend getting on Amazon because a lot of the times online, it was much cheaper. Okay. Or you could find different versions. A lot of the shit here was definitely overpriced. And it goes without being said. Clearly, they're going to do that. But it's nice because some of the shit's exclusive. So I would recommend, as an anime fan, if you're into that stuff, I think that's where you really hit the nail on the head is if you're coming for the exclusives. Sure. Because this is the place to go, right? And of course,
the only place to go. Yeah.
Exactly. Like this is when you come and get it. Like I don't think looking back that I would be a person now that like comes here to just get shit when Amazon's a thing. Now, like you know what I mean? Like it's just like it may be back in the day when it's like okay, maybe this is the only time I can find this kind of stuff. Because
I mean, obviously, unless like you're a diehard fan of whatever it is you're buying,
but
right? Like,
but you can just get it online. But you know what I'm saying?
You can't get a lot online because even when I was looking around, there's not. From the stuff that I saw in the convention today was very different. Yeah.
So I guess that's my point. That's my point, right? Is that if you can get the same thing online, from what I saw, majority of the time online was the cheaper route for the same item. My thing is that if you're coming to buy items, I would try and buy items that you cannot find or get online or access so easily. Yeah. You know, that was my point, you know, because it's going to be, you're going to be paying a pretty penny there, you know. But there was some dope shit. But anyway, I'm sorry. Continue. You were saying.
No, either way, they had some dope clothes. Like me and Isaiah got them 2 fucking sweet jackets, which you guys will see later on. Yes. As well as other shit. But I don't know. It's just cool watching other people, like even the beanies that we all wind up getting. Did you get one, Isaiah, or no?
No,
Isaiah didn't get one. But like literally, this guy's like, yeah, I just make the shit, you know, and everything there.
Although I did get a dope Hentai with Senpai sweatshirt from him.
Oh, you did get that sweatshirt. Oh, and I got the ramen one too. Yeah. But like, it's just sweet when you're like, oh, you know. You made it, you know. It's just sweet.
You made it.
No, there's something cool about like
and you see it in their face, like they get happy. They're like, "Oh, you're buying my shit," you know.
Yeah. Well, so that's the other thing. And again, if money is your gripe, then I get it. But like with the pro to buying something at a convention versus on Amazon is like you don't know where the fuck that thing's coming from. You don't know where the fuck that thing was.
That's true.
But there's something really like cool about like looking the person that made this thing in the face and being like, I like your shit, and he's like, thank you, and like, you know what I mean?
That is, you're right.
That's
like
something you don't get to do.
Especially with art, you're like, I appreciate
especially
this,
now,
and I'm paying the premium.
Yeah, especially now with like such an internet focused era, it's like cool to like look somebody, a creator. In the eye
that's good.
And be like, I like this
for sure.
No, and I fucked with.
I'm wrong. I accept it. It's okay. No, that was no. That was a very good point. And like you know, Gavin and I know when we were running around getting some of the art, we were together because again, we had super similar tastes. I would always make sure to thank the artists and like. And you know, compliment them and say, "Hey, you do really amazing work. Like, thank you." And they would be like, "Oh, thank you so much." You know, and then we get it because these people like really put in work and it's awesome. But Isaiah, how about you?
I would say favorite thing. Like I know it's like kind of what you said, but like just getting to meet people. It's like this is my first convention going to, and like just being around, being like. as somebody who's watched anime for so long, like who was like an anime fan before being an anime fan was cool, it's like amazing, and like to me still to really, like, this gives me the scope, right? When I am like online, or I'm, you know what I mean, like watching episodes and I'm reading comments of all these different people, it's like obvious, right, that just by looking at the sheer responses to things, that like a lot of people like anime, but like this thing makes everything real. It puts faces to these names, and like it like shows you that like there's a whole world of people that love this kind of shit just as much as we do, and like that's cool. The fact that like you could literally be walking on this floor and like literally stop anybody, and like strike and get going on a conversation about anime.
Yeah.
Because like I know that I love it, and I know that they love it, and it's like that sort of like already intertwined social understanding is fucking the coolest shit ever. Like that's the reason I would come back to any con, to be honest. Sure. That and the cosplays. Cosplaying is fucking the dopest shit of the dopest shit. The thing, the dislike that I would say, or I guess to word it, the thing that I would like them to improve, and I think they will, like as they get bigger and do this more, is like the whole special event panel scenarios. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of them were like not poorly run overall, but there were portions of them that could have been like so like I don't really have like a one all be all solution to this right now, but like a lot of it, because it's like run by volunteers, ends up feeling or looking like it's run very half-heartedly, or it's run very like, fuck, we don't really know what's going on, or like there's they do poorly at
better
like,
organization.
Yeah. There needs to be, and like, unfortunately, if it requires paying niggas to work, like then maybe that's what you have to do. But it's like, you know what I mean? Because again, it's like because these are volunteers, they're not employees.
They did get money though. They did. The one guy said,
they do get money, but it's like you don't have an organization here working for you, like painstakingly organizing this event and being like, no, here, like this is the barrier, these are the lines, you do this, like.
Dude, I said it 20 times. How many times did I say it? Somebody would try and be like, there would be like some dude, no offense, but like there'd be some guy like 150 pounds soaking wet, and he'd be like, can we get a line here? He wouldn't even make it past like the third person. I'm like, bro, we need a guy from the fucking Marines to come in and he'd be like, hey, get the fucking out! Like, and that's what they needed so many times.
I think, what it comes down to is like, or a nigga that's paid to be here. I think if this dude was paid to be here, he would have been a lot louder. And it's like, that's like, if there was a system in place, a very solid system, where it's like, all right, this room is the Naruto event. Everything's like snaked off here by these barriers is the line. If you step out, you're out. Fuck off. Like, this is the line. Move single file, like take these, you know what I mean? If there was like an actual, like, if it didn't feel so, because believe it or not, as like a fan and somebody who was there online and stuff, when the people organizing this event feel discombobulated, like that feeling reflects on the people.
All the energy feeds off.
Exactly. So like then you start being like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh, well, fucking, and then you get, you know, and then everybody feeds off it, and it becomes this like giant miscommunicated like barble of like shit. It's like you just like, you know, I think like just. Again, if it's like spending money, I don't know, but like just need better. We need official organization. Yeah, better organization.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's write him an email. We'll organize it next year.
No, and the reason I don't mean to say that, I didn't mean to bring that up to put it on blast, because there were so many things that we love. It's just, again, for anyone listening to this, it comes down to the fans, right? Yeah. Like voicing their opinions when it comes to this, because we like this so much that we want it to succeed, and we want it to grow, and we want it to continue to go for years to come, right?
It used to be, you know, a pretty big convention, and it was actually sort of like killed off by Comic-Con, but like now it's coming back, and I believe this is their second or third year back, and I hope to see it run for several more years. So we say these things like as things to improve on, right? I want these things to be aired so that, you know, somehow, some way, you know, somebody running this or whatever hears it and can use these things to improve it. Yeah, I agree. And that comes down to everybody, all the fans, you know, to do their part in that. Yeah. So, but no, overall, really awesome. Met some really cool people. Would definitely recommend it to anyone who's an anime fan. You know, just getting your bearings and taking the lessons that we learn. I've been saying the quote a couple times where it's like a fool learns from his own a fool learns from his own mistakes, and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So yeah, take that one to heart. So like listen to this whole episode and like listen to the things we did and didn't do.
Yeah, now you know, and you could do this in the most efficient way possible and enjoy yourself to the utmost. But man, that's it. We're still in the hotel now. We're gonna leave tomorrow morning back home to the good old shore, New Jersey. And can't wait to get back to the content. Get back on the hit the road, hit the pavement, and start making more content for you guys. Again, apologies for anyone expecting a My Hero episode this week. Again, we were at the con, so it was a little tough to do that. So because we want to record our reactions, so it'd be really tough to record a reaction via the laptop in the small hotel room. It's a lot of contingencies to it. So we decided we're probably going to double up or something next week, and
so we'll probably, whatever the case might be. Record the reaction in this week. You know what I mean? Like tomorrow's Monday. We'll record the reaction sometime between Monday and Friday, and then we'll release the discussion episode of the one that we're recording with the newest one that comes out. So 2 discussion episodes this weekend coming up. And the reaction will go up with that. Yeah,
so we got you guys for anyone that was wondering, just in case. We're here to have the best content for you guys that we could possibly deliver, and we're reinvigorated and even more excited to do that. But it's about 7:30 now. We went off, but honestly, I'm glad that we did go fully in depth, because I think this could be informative to people, and it was funny. And I hope that anyone listening enjoys it as much as we enjoyed talking about it and enjoyed our whole time here. But now let's go get something to fucking eat, because I am freaking starving. What about you guys? Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone at the con, for anyone who may listen to this at some point, for being such genuine and awesome people. And I hope to see you guys all again next year in a dope cosplay this time.
Yes, because we will be too.
Yes, absolutely. Until next time, guys, we're signing off. Peace out. Hey folks, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss our new episodes.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Apostles of Anime, where you can keep up with us and offer new ideas for the show.
You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, and more. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys back next week to talk about all things anime.